Hello, everyone, and welcome to our week 3 matchup, aka our winners bracket final for the Apollo CCS Revival Series. I am Septi, joined alongside What to Britty, and tonight we have Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV Hydra. How you doing, Britty? How's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. This will be my second stream here for the CCS. I'm very excited to be back. And we got a really good matchup tonight. Excessive Hydra looks really good coming into this matchup immediately, and I think Dorado might have a little bit of an uphill battle to climb to actually come through with the win here.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, have been doing pretty well in the upper bracket so far. Dorado Gaming Iota 3-1ing their last matchup in Syndicate last week on stream, as well as XSV Hydra 3-0ing their matchup against Elysium. And as we get into the draft, they are flying through
Quick
already. Six
draft,
bans already
wow.
down, and Ornn, the first one taken off the map. Very surprised considering there are so many tank busters like the Gwen, like honestly, like Trundle as well.
Mhm.
So Dorado Gaming must have a plan to either be flexing this or potentially, Cali G is just like that and will just play top lane for no issue whatsoever.
I do think this is also a
Or
pick
that
away
too.
from Espada. Espada is a guy who does like playing these tanks, Ornn especially. I've seen him play on a number of occasions over on different organizations. So I know that he's willing to make the pick at the very least. So I think this is just Dorado saying, hey, we know you're like pocket pick. We're just going to take away the Ornn. You can't have it for the rest of the series. And Cali G is fine with playing it. Sion and Seraphine as the response. I like that. Just tank versus tank matchup. Just say, hey, you want to sack the lane? Fine, we will too. We have the infinite scaling matchup. And the Seraphine separated from Ash Seraphine, so obviously not as strong, but he's still very flexible. Can go mid, bottom lane carry, or support. But as I immediately stare down the barrel of a Samira, I'm thinking you want to keep the Seraphine out of the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very scary place for the Seraphine to be, especially with that Nautilus locked alongside. I want to make note of XSV's first phase bans. That is 380 carries taken off the
Mm-hmm.
board for Manaxia. And to then be still given the opportunity to go for something like a Samira in, I would argue, a very favorable spot with the Nautilus to set you up is problematic, to say the least, for XSV. You have
Mm-hmm.
an isolated top laner who's just going to be chilling and farming. You have now a top lane matchup that's just going to be an island that no one cares about. Yes, both junglers will be pathing towards bot, but with Seraphine Nautilus, it is going to be such a powerful lane to play through, as well as one that stacking dragons will start putting Sion on a clock, but to actually be powered up in this game. They will round it out with Alistar on this red side for the last phase, or for the last pick, rather, of phase 1. And I don't know if what that really signals, because as you were saying before, the Seraphine might want to bail out of the spot lane. But when I think about BKP, I don't really think about about Seraphine as being, sort of synonymous with their champ pools and
Mhm.
Alistar being taken off the board. Or goodness, my brain is not working tonight. Silas taken off the board is going to be a great start for XSV though.
Yeah, getting rid of the Silas when you already have the Alistar, you already have Seraphine, two great ultimates to steal away. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Seraphine go into the hands of BKP. You were mentioning before stream, as we were just talking about this matchup, BKP, kind of a control mage guy, bit of like a Victor Oriana merchant. Not your exact words, but some of his favorite particular
I think
champions.
they
So
were my exact words, Brady. It's okay. They were
so
my words. They were
Seraphine
my
does
words.
does sit pretty well into that same kind of control mage style composition. You play her just as a standard, like I'm gonna wave clear mid, and once the team fights come around, I'm gonna provide a ton of value, but in laning phase, I'm not gonna do too much. I think it can work. It just matters on what Maddie actually wants to pick into this particular bottom lane matchup. As a support player, Samir Nautilus is not a lane I like fighting against with any of my picks, honestly. Any picks in general. If this lane knows what they're doing, it is so easy for them to snowball and to get ahead, and you have to be very confident in whatever matchup you're picking into it. Alistar is great for disengage. It's just a matter of what AD carry is left that you want to pair up with it should this Seraphine go into mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look now at bans, Dorado Gaming taking away that Shyvana and Wukong, a champion that is very good with Silas taken off the board. Now on the other side, XSV doing some nice cover banning, and this is some more crazy nonsense going on. This Jax is flexed right now between both. Honestly, the flexes right now in XSV are kind of crazy. Sion technically is flex
Mm-hmm.
jungle. Jax is flexed jungle, top, and support. Actually, probably not with the Alistar, but people could be crazy. It could technically go ADC with the way things are going right now. I don't know if Maddie
I
is
mean, you could
that
you could
psychotic.
play Jax Alistar into Severe and Nautilus.
That's
That's not a
I was
matchup
thinking
where
of that.
Severe's gonna have fun.
It doesn't sound like the worst lane either. You start you start channeling Counter Strike when Nautilus throws hook. Samira can't even punish you really either, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just counter engage with the Alistar. It actually doesn't sound like a bad lane in theory.
If
Uh,
Maddie has practice on the pick, this would be an insane game one counter pick.
It definitely
Off the
would be because
wall,
I don't think there's anything you're picking that's going to start getting prio in that lane unless you pivot this Alistar to somewhere else and play Seraphine like Xerath or something and
and
just
then
try
you're
and
playing
hard shove them out
Alistar
of
somewhere
lane.
that isn't support, and that's just
Yeah.
never fun. I do
Now
like
all of a sudden,
what
Dorado Gaming have crafted a very, very nice, well balanced composition.
Mhm,
I love what they've done. I was curious at first what they're going to do with the Ornn. I thought maybe with they were going to try and do some back handsprings with this champion in terms of flexibility. But no, it's going to stick in that top lane. Galio is going to go mid, and it's going to be a lovely Lilia jungle to pair alongside those. It's just a very solid composition, one that's
yeah.
gonna versus XV comp, which I suppose now it
Ooh,
is just gonna be Seraphine bot, Rise mid,
yeah,
Jax jungle,
okay.
Sion top. Don't know how I feel about that. I think that Jax is sort of the polar bear in Arlington in this situation, just sort of out of place. Unless
Mhm.
they're gonna do some weird stuff and send Sion into the jungle and Jax top, but we'll have to see. I
I'd
don't
be a little surprised. It does look like the Scion is gonna go into the top lane, or at least that's what we expect it to be.
most likely,
Uh,
yeah.
BKP on a control mage, like you said, this is what he does. I'm a little worried for the Seraphine in this bottling matchup. You mentioned having confidence in Maddie before this series started. I think this is going to be a
I
difficult lane to navigate at the very least, though. Samir and Nautilus, like I said, aggression, aggression, aggression. And they have a Lilia that can kind of just sit bottom lane and camp for them. You're not really worried about the top lane matchup, Sion versus Ornn. They're going to sit, they're going to farm, they're going to do whatever they want. And that's just kind of how the matchup is going to go. And in mid lane, yeah, you have a Galio, but how much ganking are you going to be getting done versus that Rise? You do want to put him down early, but at the same time, if you leave Samir and Nautilus alone, they're not really going to be having fun versus the poke of Seraphine.
I just did a quick deep dive into Maddie's account or accounts plural on their multi. I don't see a whole lot or really any of Seraphine AD carry. So I'm curious if this is a bailout. Maybe it was going to go to BKP, and then they realized that it wasn't going to be possible to play the matchup. Because I don't really
Mhm.
think of Seraphine Alistar as like a bot lane that would be one that I'm confident in laning versus most bot lanes, let alone Samira and Nautilus. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about the Galio Rise matchup. It's just going to be a lot of wave clearing, and
Mhm.
I'm curious as to what sort of style of Galio build we're going to get in the mid lane from NBK. Um, there have been sort of two schools of thought. It's either the full tank with like aftershock, and then there have been some. full AP builds with like Storm Surge
Yeah.
popping up recently, and it has been really, rolling face in the mid lane. You sort of just do a big chunk of burst, and then you get your phase rush to run away, or I guess your Storm Raider Surge to run away from your matchup. And then as well, I mean, while you're doing that big trade, you're just able to full clear the wave as well because Galio's wave clear ability is just that massive. And I mean, to be honest, it's probably just going to be Kali G. There's probably not going to be a single jungler in the top lane until at least level
Hmm.
6. Um, and I would fully imagine CJ Lopez and CTEC to be hard pathing down to the bot side to try and influence this lane as much as possible. CJ Lopez trying to cover the Samira and the Nautilus to make sure that they're constantly shoving or constantly at least threatening and engage on the bot side. And then Sutek trying to cover and potentially go for these counter ganks. Um, I will say that CJ Lopez is not going to be able to duel the Jacks of Sutek very easily in this matchup. It is one of
Hmm.
those where CJ Lopez will kind of just run away. And if they try to properly engage their opponent, it might be tough. Unless obviously the spacing is fantastic, which it could very well be. But then of course NBK over the top with the Galio ulti might just be the thing to save the day.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The more I look at these drafts, the more I love this Dorado composition. It is very
Hmm.
perfect death ball. We're gonna stack 5 people in one lane. Or even 4-1 with the Galio Global.
I
We're
was gonna
gonna
say, but
go in.
also size
We're gonna
very well
make
as well.
we're gonna make the engage. We're gonna force you to fight on our terms. And granted, Hydra does have a lot of good disengage on their side. Seraphine, Alistar, even Jax to a certain extent can maneuver fights really well and position themselves for success. But I think it's going to be really difficult when Dorado is just saying, "Hey, we're going to punch you in the face. Can you block? Yes or no? If yes, we win. If not, we probably lose, but it's fine."
Yeah, I mean, I am curious to see how XSV's comp plays when they actually get on the Rift. Um,
Mhm.
sorry, someone just came in the door. My dog is going to be barking. Uh,
Aw.
Brittany, if you want to take that for a second, I'll be right back.
Take care of that. Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what happens when XSV's comp actually does hit the Rift, like you were saying. Uh, just a matter of how they're able to navigate it, because it is very late game scaling in general. You have Seraphine who wants to get a couple of items, Ryalize being one of the most important ones. BKP, the Rise, you want him to hit level 16, you want him to get all those mana items stacked up. Jack's not exactly known for his early game prowess, even though he can duel, and Sion being Sion. And then you look at Samira, Lilia, even Galio to a certain extent, these champions that can really kind of punch face in the early game. Galio and Ornn doing a lot more unexpected damage, I think, in the early game than people really anticipate. I'm a little worried that Excessive just kind of gets run over before their comps can actually get online because Dorado, like I said, they'll just punch you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I fully expect early dragons to be fought by Dorado Gaming. I don't think that Kalaji will move to them, but I could fully understand if they decide to pull their top laner away from their lane for the time being because yes, Sion will get some gold, but I don't think it'll be the case where Sion will become unkillable, especially when you have the damage split between Samira really sort of being the only AD person on this entire Dorado gaming side. I mean, Lilia,
Hmm.
Galio, Ornn, and Nautilus are all primarily magic damage. And so Sion, despite being an absolute juggernaut, won't be able to really build enough resistances of either kind to survive, despite regardless of how much gold they get. Um, and yeah, I mean, I would love to see some early dragons focused by Dorado Gaming. I think that would set them up very nicely um, to then lead into the time where I don't even know if you really want to be getting to, your third or fourth Ornn items. I think you probably want to be ending the game before that. Um,
Hmm.
I think realistically for XSV, this game will come down to how well BKP can keep NBK in check and try and roam around to their own benefits. And so, in the effort of doing so, Sutek and Maddie's handbag need to be roaming mid as much as possible, blowing NBK's flash, chunking the Galio out, and allowing this Rise to unlock themselves and make plays around the map. But well, I mean, we'll have to see. I don't know how XSV's comp is going to work. I said that before. And yeah, that's
It's
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 a
just
lot to
preying
find
on late
out.
game scaling, honestly, and preying on like
Yeah.
having good team fights late in the game. Seraphine provides such ridiculous value with the ultimate, with the heal and the shield as well. Like, not even counting her damage, which is gonna be a little higher, I think, than most people expect in the late game, especially if you are building carry Seraphine and you're not doing support build. Uh, so I think they're really just praying for late game. Honestly, I think in a perfect world, both of these top laners would actually want their champions swapped because Sion will do better despite him being infinite scaling. Earlier in the game, he'll have a little bit more impact just with the ultimate and with the beefy body that he provides. And Ornn will be much better off in the late game once he's providing those ornaments.
Yeah, I
But
mean that's definitely true. But I mean, as you said in draft, this Ornn is a takeaway from Espada,
mhm,
and I'm wondering if seeing how jank this XSV comp is, if these are takeaways from Dorado Gaming. Because a lot of times teams in best of fives, they'll take game one as the time in the series to try
let's get some
something.
champs out of the pool.
Exactly. Well, I mean, even before Fearless, they would be like, "This is the comp we're gonna try, and if it works, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's fine. We can still lose another game before we're really in trouble." Um,
Mhm.
and in this case, maybe XSV are thinking these champions are going to be headaches for us. I mean, just look at their draft. They had to ban 380 carries in the first phase, and then Monoxia still got a fantastic AD in the spot that they picked.
Yeah, 4
So
AD carry bans and Samira Nautilus. Obviously not like premier AD carry, but this is obviously a champion combination that Monoxia is comfortable on. They get it into a good matchup versus this Seraphine. This is very obviously like Dorado said, hey, if they pick a weaker laner like Seraphine, like Victor, one of these mages, we'll just throw down Samira Nautilus and say, hey, we're gonna fist fight you level 2. You don't have a response.
yeah, I mean, and now they've taken away 5 champions that potentially could be headaches for them later on. I
Mhm.
know Alistar is particularly one that's a bit problematic when you start. Yeah, I mean, just in general, I don't like it with the Seraphine. I know Ash was banned, but anyway, my own
You
gripes
couldn't
aside,
my worry for this excessive comp is the lack of physical damage. You have Scion, who's going to be milking mostly tank. I doubt we'll see anything like an Overlord's Bloodmail. And Jax, who is your other source of physical damage, really is just he's very 50-50 on damage in terms of magic physical split. So he's not going to be like the 80 hyper carry that you want. It's not like a Xin Zhao in the jungle or a Jarvan who could build a full damage sort of spread and make that sort of carry game happen. I think their lack of physical damage might come back to bite them. Galio's great into heavy magic damage compositions, and I'm wondering if maybe they did want to play a standard 80 carry or maybe even like Seraphine plus Senna. As much as it's a terrible matchup versus Samir Nautilus, just saying, hey, we're going to sack the lane, we'll sit under tower the whole time, and we will just farm for late game.
yeah, I mean, I like I said before, I looked at Maddie's champ pool, not a Seraphine player. And so again, I don't know sort of what the thinking was, but I'm more than happy to see what it looks like. We got a bit of a segment here before we get into game, but before that,
We're doing that next game, I
we're
believe.
doing a next game. So before we go to a quick break, I won't leak it. All right. I also don't think they can. I don't even think they can hear you. So I'm just being schizophrenic right now. Um, But before we get to our break before game number one, I do want to remind everyone that it is now more important than ever to have some influence on the games that you see on your own screen and or potentially down the line as both of these teams are still in the upper bracket and still have a chance to fight their way through the lower bracket. So any mental edge you can get is phenomenal. With that said, I do want to remind everyone about our lovely Rage Bait feature here at the CCS. For 100k channel points or once per month with your sub, you can get your message shown live on screen during our games, just like in the LCS when they have either tweets or Twitch messages show up. Um, you only get one Rage Bait per month per CCS subscriber, and you got to use them or lose them. Make sure to get in line because there's only going to be one Rage Bait per game. So get going on that. DM Flay or Redacted and or another mod on the Discord for any questions and requests. And also make sure to link your Twitch and Discord accounts to gain access to sub-only Discord channels. And with that said, Brittany, anything else before we head to a quick break?
I think that's it. I'm excited for when we get onto the rift for this game number 1.
Phenomenal. We will be right back with Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV for game number one of our upper bracket semifinal. Welcome back to our upper bracket final. We are here with Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV Hydra. We are on the map for game number 1, and we are doing some standard things. Actually, I like this adaptation. Before we even get into the nonsense bot lane with the warding of the middle bush, I like what these junglers have done. There have been so many shenanigans in these games, in these series here at CCS, where junglers will just walk in to enemy bot side. Also, Galio failed his ward over the wall. I want to make that known. He failed his ward on the Raptors.
Incredibly cringe. How could you?
Incredibly cringe. And I also think, for whatever reason, NBK is in streamer mode.
Yeah,
Shame.
I was about to say, someone's going to have to go
Shame.
yell at NBK after this game if he ends up staying for game number 2. We haven't heard word that there is a good chance of a substitute coming in for game number 2 based off of real-life scheduling. Obviously, real-life takes priority over League of Legends or some such nonsense that you may have heard.
But yeah, anyway, these wards that have been placed, as you can see in River, as we get a bit of trading on the bot side. Matty's handbag should be fine, has both summons available still to them. We can see wards guarding the Raptor Pit and blue side entrance, respectively, for both of these teams here. And I like the adaptation. Both of these junglers are playing unique types of champions. Lilia obviously would have much preferred to invade Raptors, potentially, if she's going to go for that. And Sutek has also gone for an interesting pathing so far. I believe started Raptors into red and then is now hitting their Krugs. And so we'll either be angling for a play top lane or just quickly basing for a longsword. Looks like probably the base option. Oh, what are we doing, Sutek?
Just given the top lane matchup, double Doran's Helm tank laners, I'd be very surprised. I think this may just be an attempt to make sure that the Lilia can't come in to counter gank, or not counter gank, sorry, to invade that jungle, and make sure that they can't get access to that Raptors. Other than that,
Should get sorted here in just a second here. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, the sequencing is just very awkward. Is the problem? Because you now have an entire camp spawn difference. Like, I mean, you can even look at the jungle timers right here on the map. It's a minute, and then 40 seconds later is when the Krug spawn, and so a lot of the times people will start their Raptors in order to have a camp to go back to after the initial clear, because a lot of the times they'll be concerned that nothing will be happening or that they won't have a play to go for.
On the roam, BKP is going to get taunted up. Hook's going to land. There's the root auto attack. They need a little bit more damage. Ignite's coming through. It's taking the health bar enough. No! Ignite takes it down. First blood for Loveless.
Very nice roam from Loveless there, going up from the bot side. And a very interesting state to be doing it. I'd love to see what the bot lane looks like, just because it looks like the wave might even be frozen from Anaxia, and Loveless still was able to leave at level 2 to make that play. Looks like now it'll finally be shoved in, and with no prio on the bots. Yeah, look at that wave was perfect from Anaxia as well. So Matty and Matty's handbag unable to get that crash beforehand, but a very nice roam. No sums available on BKP, and the difficulty grows now.
But
CJ should just get his smite back as well. Should be fine.
Yes. Not feeling comfortable enough to walk up for it. CJ didn't have smite still, but Sutek not wanting to overpress it there, just going back to the Raptor.
Look, hold on, look. Not to interrupt you, Brady. I do want to say, I mean, but look at Jax now. It went back to go hit the Raptors, and now he's gonna have to wait 18 seconds to hit their next camp.
Yeah. Engage here on the bottom side. Manaxia, it's exhausted. Barrier's on, but Matty's handbag is in a lot of trouble. Flash still available, holding on to it for way too long. Manaxia will just take that kill, and now Matty's going to be the one in trouble. Has to flash away from the hook, but Manaxia should just have the damage. Loveless flashes in regardless, has the shield to survive the tower shot. Beautifully done by the Dorado bottom side.
Yeah, and now the snowball begins. 2 kills under Nautilus, a kill on Manaxia with flash still available to them. Matty has no flash. And this is looking to be problematic now. Matty will have TP to get back to lane, so won't miss out too much on the XP. Sutek is here at the top. No wards for the Ornn.
He doesn't realize that he's in trouble here yet. They didn't use all of his cooldowns. Has the flash available, but I think with Counter-Strike and the leap available, nothing doing for Cali G. Espacito, Mr. Espada on the top side will take that kill.
Yeah, this wave is really tough for Cali G. It's going to be frozen against them on that top side, and no TP as well to fix it is going to spell disaster for the Dorado Gaming top laner. And I mean, I guess Sutek gets bailed out from the awkward pathing that they took in this game, but it does not matter. I mean, a great kill goes to the Scion as Hook now going to land onto the Alistar. Shouldn't be much of anything. Sutek is in the wings if this play does extend, but the wave is so phenomenal for Dorado Gaming. And with Lilia in tow, there could be some fun fighting here.
Oh, this is just tragedy for Maddie and his handbag. They're just sort of at the whims of Manaxia and Loveless. Whenever they want to choose to go in, they can. You saw the hook already thrown out there.
Also,
But I mean,
pretty,
Sutek's just gonna have to.
and
You're gonna have to just come and try and fix the wave. Yeah, just try and show as a show of force. Lopez is in the area. This will get a fight. Maddie's handbag gets the two-man pulverized. Manaxia wants to keep this fight going. Not level 6 on that Seraphine, but the style still gives you the speed. Manaxia will take down the handbag.
Yeah, and I mean, bad to worse. Sutek, unfortunately, as well, not able to take their camps. Tried to get that wave crashed in there, but CJ Lopez in the right place at the right time to cover that play. And again, Maddie not using the flash, or Maddie's handbag, sorry, not using the flash to get out of that one. A great play from the bottom lane and jungle combination. And Dragon, as we talked about in draft, will be started up now for the side of Dorado Gaming Iota. And it's looking really good. Already up to a 1,500 gold lead for this blue side. And when you have a champion like Samira, who is going to start absolutely crushing it with the gold lead, this is exactly the sort of position you want to be in. Already has that Dirk, already has the level 6 as well, and decided to go for the triple tonic as well on this Samira. So has that additional adaptable, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name of it off the top of my head, but it has the flask to do some extra damage as well. And Sutek now trying to find a way to punish the Lilia, who's going to be open to this. Loveless is here, though.
Yeah, Loveless spots this out, but it's still level 5 on the Nautilus.
Sutek, this is
not
not allowed.
Loveless, yeah, Kali G might actually be the one in trouble here if he walks up too far. Sutek is going to start the engage onto Loveless. There's that call of the Forge God. Won't find the knockup. Nice little bit of CC there from Espada, but Sutek is already dead. Nice hook from Loveless. Will catch Espada as well. Nasyan with no ult should just be run down here. Might try to get the flash off. Gets over the wall at the very least. But can they chase back out? The bully ball lands. There's the hook. That should be one dead zombie. CJ Lopez gets their kill on the board.
A strike for CJ Lopez with that swirling seed. Gonna help them get that kill. And, you know, NBK right back to the mid lane. Down about 15 CS, so it's not amazing. It's Manaxia. Ooh, very nice dodge.
Yeah, nice little timing there. Does have the level 6, can try and turn this around. Nice stun timing, though, from Manny's handbag. There's the barrier. Manaxia, though, still feeling confident to just walk up, but plenty of damage coming through from Maddie. Has to be careful. Sacks that style up to A, but does not want to go back in.
Has the flash. Might be trying to bait Maddie's handbag in there. That'd be some psychotic gameplay, but would be absolutely on brand with Manaxia to go for something like that as they're trying to bait this.
Flashing from Manny's handbag. There's the combo. They've got the CC. Shutdown goes over to the Alistar, who will give his life in response. NBK flying in to get the revenge.
Ooh, nice
Flashing
flash.
on top of Maddie. They know the Seraphine has no flash. A couple more autos down. The Winds of War. A double kill for NBK.
Yeah, and a fantastic bait from the Dorado Gaming Iota squad there. They knew exactly what they were going for. Manny's handbag, unfortunately, baited in. And Manaxia, unfortunately, not able to flash the engage from the Alistar, but was able to be the catalyst of that play, turning around in their favor. This is great. I mean, I'm not sure what Sutek was thinking here. Didn't have push in mid. Didn't really have the full support of their top laner. And I feel like you only go for this kind of play if you know exactly where CJ Lopez is. And you know exactly where Loveless is. And you see a nice swirling seed here as well from CJ Lopez to land the slow and get that extra kill for their trouble in the top side. And I mean, the gold lead now is skyrocketing, already 2,500, closer to 3 now, as it's gonna be first item completed for both Galio and the Nautilus here in this game. Taking a look around the map, I'm not sure what Maddie's first item is gonna be. I really hope it's not Seraph's Embrace, because in terms of power level, that is not a very nice one for the Seraphine.
I'm hoping it's going to be Blackfire Torch or even Ludens I would be okay with as Sutek walking into his own jungle, but I don't think this actually belongs to him. Counter-Strike is on. He'll get the blue buff at the very least, but he's just a very sleepy Jax. Grandmaster's Might is on, so he's a little tanky, but there's that shield coming through. Maddie will keep him alive for a little bit longer. Sutek survives! Gets the shutdown! Nice 3-man knockup from Maddie's handbag, but now Manaxia is styling. Nice exhaust timing is going to keep him down, though. The Seraphine not really allowed to actually get anything done. The Samira will fall. Seraphine reigns Supreme. BKP is going to try and chase down NBK. I think the Galio might be a little too tanky to actually make anything happen, though.
Oh, but he slows himself up.
Walk away, or started to walk away at the very least. Now MBK in trouble.
Batty's
flashes
flashing?
for the root, the stun. They've got him locked up. They'll give the kill over to BKP. Shut down for the rise. An excessive swing back into the game.
From what it looks like to me, there was not enough push in the side lane for CJ Lopez to go for that. It looked like a fairly decent setup, and I think they might have just overvalued their Samira in that situation. The wave was stuck in the lane for Monaxia, and so they weren't really able to move early enough to make that play happen. And then CJ Lopez, again, just not tanky, and as you said, the Grandmaster at Arms, just far too impactful in that fight in terms of keeping Sutek alive. And I'm not really sure. I think it was execution based. I think the play would have been okay as Level's now gonna head
nice dodge there from Monaxia. Will get away from the encore as well, but Sutek's in the area. Monaxia gets flashed on. The barrier's there. Can they stack up enough style to actually get this ultimate off and maybe trade one back? But it's not in time. Sutek with the damage, smacks him with the paper towel tube.
Yeah, the Inferno trigger not doing enough damage there onto Maddie. No collector yet for this Samira. As now it's looking a little bit tough though. Monaxia had a great lead, but now due to over-fighting and just, I would argue, over-aggressive play from Dorado Gaming, it is turning into a negative for them. They are still up 1,000 gold, but in terms of mental and momentum, as hold on, Dragon.
It's down to 1.4. Smite comes through for Sutek. I don't think there should be any fight here, but Loveless might be in trouble. Nice buffer with the hook. We'll get him out. CJ Lopez, though, wants to get the fight. Two-man lilting Lullaby, but a little bit of CC there. Maddie will keep himself alive. Sutek with the counter-strike on. We'll get a couple stunned here. Heroic entrance denied by Maddie's handbag, and now MBK stuck in the mix. BKP is just here free-firing away. Doesn't do a ton of damage yet, but should be enough to actually get through these health bars eventually, but it's not actually. Monaxia will just pick up a free kill on Maddie's handbag as the rest of Excessive will just walk away.
Yeah, and a nice lollipop on that hook into the Inferno trigger for Monaxia gets that kill for the Samira again. And those stacks on the Hubris are going to start mattering as this game goes on further and further. And it was a little bit unfortunate. I feel like this Rise, it's just too early in the game for them to be doing the type of damage needed for that fight. And it's just unfortunate. I feel like it was a good angle for the side of XSV, but Galio, as you talked about in draft, is able to itemize very well versus the XSV side with so much MR already in inventory, as we have not one, but two magic resist Sunfire items, as the name escapes me at the moment.
Hollow Radiance coming.
Hollow Radiance, thank you.
It's gonna be such a clutch item as well because it really helps the non-AP Galio with the wave clear. You're gonna see this wave just pop and disappear, and now NBK is free to run around the map. I do want to say, I love that Monaxia is actually building Hubris first here. I think we see collectible.
Sorry, before we get too far away from the Hollow Radiance, are you aware of my hatred of the Sunfire items currently?
I'm unaware.
I know they're in a rant every time I see them on stream.
I know they're in a pretty weak spot currently, especially base Sunfire. Hollow Radiance just kind of being necessary for tanks to be able to wave clear. But it's not like
so my argument is always this game I don't mind it as much, but I think it's still bad. I think you were better off.
There's three of them in this game, even as Callie. In a bit of
trouble. Wouldn't have had that problem if they didn't have Sunfire. Just gonna say
Force of Nature would have given the movement speed to actually get out. I do think Force of Nature is a much better and highly underrated magic resist.
So you are a knower of the, instead of needing the Sunfire, just buy a tier to have the extra mana to wave clear, and then you don't have to.
Or even just sit on the Balmy Cinder and just have it help for a little bit. But I will say
anyway, for another
Monaxia going for Monaxia going for Hubris first, I think is correct here, as Loveless is going to get engaged on. I don't know if this is the fight they want, though. Teleports are going to start coming through. Maddie's handbag does have the Unbreakable on, but has to flash away now. CJ Lopez there with the collapse, and I think it's just teleports burn for nothing.
Yeah, now, I mean, NBK is going to have first move back to mid lane, and we'll be able to deny at least half this wave, which is significant considering, oh my goodness, look at the various CS leads around the map. 30 plus for mid lane for BKP, but 30 plus on the other side for Monaxia. So we get some fighting. Loveless, you are on the wrong side of the lane, my friend.
Wrong side of the lane, but I don't think he's uncomfortable just yet. Maddie, with just that Seraph's and inventory, he's not going to be doing too much damage, but now with Sutek in the area, Loophead Speed is going to look for the all-in. There's the encore, will catch one, but Minaxia now wants to try and find his way back in. Gets slowed up, but Maddie's handbag is going to immediately deny it. Lilting Lullaby is just going to land onto one. I don't think they want to overforce this. BKP in the area as well. Keep your eyes on the top side of that screen. Will get spotted out. CJ Lopez there.
I would love to see a replay of... I would love to see a replay of what happened top lane, because I think Espada tried to TP to that ward we see in Trebridge there. Sutek now here.
Okay. Doesn't get the Counter-Strike off, but they want the engage on Loveless regardless. He will get stunned up and will eventually fall to Sutek, but now Minaxia has the support of the Galio. Is it going to be enough, though? Minaxia under turret will get sniped down by Maddie. Seraph still keeping them alive for a little bit longer. CJ Lopez starting to do the burn, do the damage on the deer. A double kill. Tries to make it 3 with a fully fall, but just a little bit too far on the fadeaway. NBK will pick that up, and Dorado, stand tall.
Yeah, phenomenal play for Dorado here. 5 kills now on this Lilia with that Leandri's completed as well. It's just going to be so much moving forward. The Lilia is just going to start absolutely burning this XSV side here. As, again, we take a look here again at this fight. Encore just clipping Loveless, unfortunately, as Maxi trying to go in with that Inferno trigger, but a very nice interruption. I think this is a bit of a hopeful Lilting Lullaby here from CJ Lopez. I don't think there's much to follow up with, especially after Loveless is already chunked down to half HP. But yeah, it looked like there was a TP there from behind from Espada as Sutek unfortunately Counter-Strike going short there. Another flash forward from Maddie. Loveless is getting so much value for their life here, as Minaxia unfortunately gets baited by Maddie walking away. The beat drop, just too much damage. And I mean, there's not really much in terms of micro abilities here, just some very nice team fighting and a very nice TP from Cali G in the end. And as we are back to live, it is a Dragon setup.
Yeah, Dragon already down to 5,000. CJ Lopez and Minaxia trying to get it down. Maddie's handbag looking for the engagement. Here comes Espada. The knockup just lands onto NBK, not the prime target. They will get Minaxia down to half HP, though. The Encore's going to land onto 4. Can XSV finally take a fight off of this? Sutek in the front line doing plenty of damage. Has that lethal tempo stacked up. Will pick up 1. Looks for the second. Finds 2. Now it's Loveless on the run. Will get sniped down eventually, but the
Lilting Lullaby onto 3.
Lilting Lullaby there for CJ Lopez. Can they find any engage? The Dragon will go down to BKP and
Inferno trigger? Oh, yeah.
Minaxia tries for the engage, but nothing doing. Immediately shut down. An excessive punch back.
I think it's... I know you talked about the scaling. I think CJ Lopez just... Oh, no. We cannot be going Zhonya's second Lilia. That is... That is...
Yeah,
okay.
This is going to gut your damage.
Number one thing that will lose you this game is stopping the damage building on CJ Lopez. I think that's a mistake. I was wondering why it was that they were struggling to cut through this XSV side, as it looked like it was a fairly decent fight here, as Maddie's handbag unfortunately bungles that combo there, but a massive amount of damage done to this Galio from the Scion. And you said it before, fantastic encore. CJ Lopez really Zonya's-ing nothing here. Gets a nice sleep onto 3 here, but there's not enough follow-up. Minaxia just is not able to get in with the Inferno trigger despite the sleep. Because this, I mean, a very nice charge from the Scion. Yeah, had to go while the Decimating Smash was charging. But, I mean, there's just not enough between the shielding and the healing, as well as just the pure health bars of this XSV side. It is very difficult. I think, potentially, those bad fights taken in the early mid-game from Dorado Gaming are coming back to bite them at this moment now, as Minaxia, who was in a phenomenal spot, who had that early hubris, who had such a solid goal lead in against their laner, is now completely, you know, flattened. I mean, take a look at all they had to cut through. It's going to be a Seraphine into, or sorry, not Seraphine. It's going to be a Seraph's Rise and a Seraph Syndra, who is also building a Rhyolize second, so that is so much health already to cut through. They are currently sitting...
healing as well. It's
not to mention the healing and shielding and the locket as well. Call the forward down to Sutek.
Nice Counter-Strike timing there. Will still get up in the depth charge. Encore will find 3, but Minaxia is in. Can he finally get the Inferno trigger? Maddie's handbag, the hero for XSV, shuts the Samira down, and then Espada will take the kill. Now it's going to be Loveless on the run. Cali G trying to get out. No chance for the Orange to escape. NBK now on the run as well. The Galio is forced on the retreat, and a great pick turns into a win.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately... I mean, a great escape from Sutek there to walk that one out. And then they lined up for Maddie once again in that little choke there. And it was just unplayable for Dorado Gaming from that moment on. And I mean, again, we're seeing it, and unfortunately, Manaxia just no damage. This is the downside of Samira. If you're not able to get
Yeah.
that lead, and you're not able to maintain it, it becomes so difficult. As Harold gets picked up by XSV, we
It's
get
the
a nice
upside
little
and the
replay here.
downside of Samira. If you were able to get in and get a combo off, like, you see how much damage he gets onto Sutek, but Maddie's handbag, an incredible job of just denying him any
Look
chance
at the
to go
Scion
in.
damage. Like, almost deals half of Manaxia's health bar there, and is able to flash forward with the shield to explode them there. And there's just not enough damage. Again, I need to see. Does CJ Lopez finish the Zhonya second? So there's currently no one.
There's the
There's
eight
not a
Darkness
single member of
decks.
Dorado Gaming that is doing any damage currently.
Yeah, you're really hoping for Manaxia to get to this, what I hope is a Lord Dominic's regard, but it might actually end up being the Mortal
See,
Reminder
that longsword
second.
scares me. That longsword
Yeah.
makes me think it's gonna be a mortal reminder.
But it does build into the Noon Quiver, which goes into
Nope.
the...
Nope.
Does it not? I swear it did.
Oh no, it does. You're right.
Yeah, it does go
I
into the Noon
guess-
Quiver,
I
so
guess,
it's
yeah.
possible it's still the Mortal Reminder. CJ Lopez going to throw the bowling ball here, try and catch Sutek. Loveless with the depth charge, going to try and find a secondary engage. Teleports immediately
TPs.
burned for XSV. They have to find something out of this now. They look for the pick.
Don't try and
Cancel
save
it
the
out.
Galio. Let him die.
Galio will get charmed
Oh,
up.
goodness.
So will Loveless. Is that enough to actually get the pick on him? Flash forward. They really want the damage to come down. Double kill over to BKP. And Excessive took the punches in the early game, and now they're swinging harder.
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a very common thing that is seen in a lot of ranks, and it sort of doesn't really go away until you get to sort of the very high MMRs of just knowing to let the person die. Because I think they would have been able to maybe defend that bot tower if they had Loveless to potentially engage with the tower, but having Galio and the Nautilus die there is just too difficult to play. And now I think the jungle is completely dark.
Maddie does have flash,
Has
so
flash.
will be able to get himself out. Does have to use it to get over that wall, but not feeling too bad. Otherwise, they do scour most of the jungle, force CJ Lopez just sort of on
We're
the
on a
back
ward.
foot. Dragon's up now. They do want to try and fight it. Maddie's handbag gets the engage onto two. Maddie there for the follow-up. The heroic entrance in from the
very nice
Galio.
one.
Can they get anything else done?
Sleep
CJ
on the
Lopez, the sleep on to 5! Manaxia instantly tries to go in, but is exhausted and denied by Maddie's handbag again. This Alistar has not let the Samira play. And
There's
became
no
in the front line
damage.
with BKB trying to get through, but like you say, no damage! Sutek will survive, will come on through, will cut down the health bars. Cali G on the run, but he's was one of the last members standing to be cleaned up by XSV.
Yeah, it's going to be an ace for XSV, and they're looking to potentially charge into the base now of Dorado Gaming. I don't know if they have the damage for the ending the game, as Lilia is going to be up in 10 seconds time, but they will turn away from the mid lane and look towards Baron, and there's just no damage. Not a single ounce of damage coming out of this Dorado Gaming side, and for how well that early game went to how it's currently going now has got to be feeling like some whiplash for this blue side here.
And this was
It's
the
a very
engage.
nice
This
sleep
was what
onto
they
4
needed.
from CJ Lopez, but there's just no follow-up. The Lilia falls instantly, and despite the knockup from the Ornn, Maddie's able to keep them so topped up, and BKP is able to flash away and start free hitting onto the Galio and onto the rest of the team, and there's just no target focus from Dorado Gaming, and without that, they're not going to be able to cut through these massive health bars. And, I mean, it's now going to be purple being worn by the side of XSV, but it will be potentially a dragon for Dorado Gaming for their troubles, as Sutek trying to get in here to slow them down. Sniper for CJ Lopez, and it will be an objective bounty claimed for this Dorado Gaming side, so a nice little 600 gold, or maybe 1,000 gold, I believe it was, bonus split amongst the team, if I'm reading those bonuses right up there on the top left.
Here's the Lord Noms for Manaxia, so no anti-heal for the Samira here, thank goodness. But, I mean, honestly, this Samira just really has not been allowed to play the game. We called out the Alistar early in the draft as, like, is this kind of just a bailout pick? Are we worried about, like, just being able to deny Samira in any fashion? And I think, honestly, the answer is yes, but Maddie's handbag has been doing an incredible job of just not letting Manaxia have any room to breathe. The exhausts, the knockbacks, the knock-up, any chance that Manaxia has to try and find an all-in is just instantly denied.
Yeah, call the Forge Guard. We're trying again. Sion's mid.
Yeah, they're looking for it. They're getting onto Maddie, but do they have the damage to actually get through the Seraphine? They do. CJ will find that kill. Now they're going to start
Sion from the
chasing down
back.
the members without the Seraphine. They're so much weaker, but how much weaker are they really? Espada charges in. Galio will now to the backline to save himself, gets himself out of dodge. But now Espada can just continue to walk forward. Sutek untouched in this fight so far. Now on a rampage. Kali G forced on the run. The health force just not there for Dorado. And this siege will continue. The purple worm still there for XSV.
Yeah, I mean, you're knocking down the Seraphine, but the rest of the health bars for the side of for XSV rather are not moving. Espada, I believe, took most of his damage from the tower there during that exchange, and just absolutely unkillable, this Sion. And I have to eat my words from what I said in the pregame. This Sion is unkillable.
He's got a dark seal. He's got 5 stacks.
I mean, hey, W shield damage and shielding power, I believe, as well. I gotta say, I'm disappointed. Kali G's itemization this game has been really poor. I think this is losing the shopkeeper to go both Rukern and Hollowed Radiance, because they're not really poking you, so you don't really. I don't know. There's just no combat power in either of these items.
I was kind of hoping for a Heartsteel just because they're in the tank v tank matchup. I understand needing to rush the match for this, but again, Force of Nature is such a high value item. It shocks me how many top laners and tank players really don't value how much magic resistant, how much value the movement speed even on the item really gets you.
Yeah, I mean, as well, these fights are going so long where an Unending Despair would be perfect. I know there's not a whole lot of physical damage as Maddie.
Call the Forge God as well. They may be looking for it. Encore's going to be there to cancel out a lot of the damage from CJ Lopez, but they have it! Manaxia finds that kill. NBK TPing in. Can they look for any more chase down? The Mega Blast Cone will get him on top of the Scion.
Oh, no.
Instantly denied. Shut down gold over to the Samira. The carries are looking to stay online.
XSV, you cannot be doing this. Of the list of things of not to do, it is leaving your Maddie unattended in the mid lane. Dorado Gaming snapped them up like it's no big deal. And, I mean, that kill went exactly where he wanted it to as well. Right into the pockets of Manaxia. And instantly bases and buys a pickaxe and a BF sword. So this IE not very far from completion. Gets another stack on that Hubris. And in terms of, you know, ways back in this game, it will be Manaxia picking up any kind of kill, any kind of extra little bit of gold they can. As well as, I mean, even CJ Lopez working towards what I believe is going to be that Riftmaker. It means that eventually Dorado Gaming is going to start doing damage. And while XSV does scale fairly well, they are still a very health pool, you know, based team. There's not going to be a whole lot of resistances. And once you start doing true damage on this Lilia.
Bloodless. Maybe a little far forward, but it's actually Sutek who might be the one in trouble. Has to flash away.
But the bait.
Hooked up again. Manaxia looking for an angle in. Has that style stacked up. Keep your eyes on this Samira. Sutek, though, a little bit too low. Does not want to go back in. Everybody else walks away. They don't want to over-engage.
Yeah, I think Espada's shield is breaking anytime soon. Yes, that was the TP shield, but...
The TP shield is kind of strong. Do you know what item I'm actually really shocked we haven't seen yet for either... Honestly, either of these teams, but mostly for Dorado? There's no Abyssal match.
I would agree, yeah. I am surprised.
I think it might be coming through for Kali next item, just given the Negatron cloak, and maybe even for NBK as well. But
like, yeah.
Just given the amount of magic damage they have, it's a little shocking to not see it.
I fear CJ Lopez. I mean, I don't know the damage numbers between Bloodlet. Oh.
Hook onto Espada. They're just looking for a potential engager. Sutek will play that front line. Comes out with the counter strike. No, the Vor's got it. Denied. Kali G caught up by the charm. Now maybe in a bit of trouble. Tries to play the front line, but he's not that tanky in the face of Sutek. Here comes Espada with the unstoppable onslaught. Manaxia still looking for an angle in with that Inferno trigger. Will pick up one, but now needs to reset the counter. Sutek looking for the stun. Gets caught up by Galio. Will get that stun down, and the NBK will fall. Maddie Sandbag in with the two-man stun, and the follow-up from Maddie from downtown. Manaxia trying to survive, but it does not have the sustain. Sutek is unstoppable, as is his name. A double kill for the Jacks.
Yeah, again... So unfortunate there. There's no more damage as Realm Warp going to be able to catch Loveless as well on the backside of this fight. Hook into the wall to try and buffer the root, but it does not matter. Actually, Super Blast Cone is going to save the Dorado Gaming support. But that's going to be soul point now for XSV. And I'm seeing on the way pings for the Baron. I'm curious if this is actually safe for them to do. There's TP on Kali G. You have the hero's entrance, sorry, from Galio as well. There is a world where if this Baron takes too long, the damage is not phenomenal from this XSV
Yeah,
side.
they're relying on
Actually, what am I
Sutek, and he's
saying?
not
The
going to be.
Rise is absolutely gunning this thing down.
The Rise will start to
Maddie's
shred it, but
handbag.
there is time. Kali G might be able to get in range. Sutek, once Sutex arrives, this Baron should just be gone, but there's a potential for some sort of engage, but it doesn't look like they're going to go for it.
No, it does not. It does not. Yeah, I mean, here we go. Finally, Fawn going to be built by Kali G. But there's still no real damage coming from this Ornn, and when unfortunately you're just sitting there in front of the rest of XSV, you're not going to be able to use that Call of the Forge God without getting CC'd by some form. There is so much between the Rise route, between the Seraphine ulti and E, as we get a Rage Bait here.
From our producer? Oh my god.
Hold on a second. Flay, unless MB redeemed a second one, this is a repeat of last week. I just gotta say, this is a repeat.
Ooh.
Anyway, it is going to be that Riftmaker finished for CJ Lopez as we take a look at the other side. 4 items for Rise, 4 items for Jax, 3 items rather for the Seraphina's Mandate.
Double onslaught. Looking for Manaxia. Doesn't have the angle, but they've already got NPK. Manaxia, keep your eyes on this Samira. She has to be the damage for Dorado. If she can't get in, there's just nothing doing for them. CJ Lopez forced back as well. And the health bar is just too damn high, too damn thick. XSV are just unkillable on their front and back line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like that usage of the Call of the Forge God. Oh,
Hook lands, but maybe not the priority target. Sutek is going to be taken down to half HP. Encore finds 2. Kali G fairly tanky. Nice knockup from Espada, though. Maybe they can find something here, but again, Inferno Trigger denied. CJ Lopez into the backline, gets the Lullaby off. Mikhail's on BKP, though. He will stand tall. The Rise picks up, too. He's looking for a third, but Espada says, with a scream, no chance. Kali G will be the last to go, and in dominant fashion, XSV take the punches and hand them out harder.
Yeah, that's going to be game number 1. Dorado Gaming, unfortunately, let that one slip away from them in a very nice comeback, despite, I'll say, my worries from the draft. These champions are just too OP. Rise, Seraphine, Alistar. I think the Jax was a very nice addition to this team. It was able to be that extra bit of disruption against the Samira. And then I think Dorado Gaming, with respect, lost to Shopkeeper in this one.
A little. I don't think
I
that was
don't think
necessarily the losing factor for though.
Well, it just felt so one-sided. I'm not saying it was a losing factor. I'm saying that it would have been a lot closer had maybe
With some
they
different
built
itemization.
different items.
But I also just think this is kind of what their comp lived and died on. We saw the benefits of it. In the early game, Samira and Nautilus were just running the game over. But as soon as XSV found their footing again, stood strong, and took the punches, there wasn't really any sort of follow-up that they could really do.
Yeah, I mean, the Alistar, the Samira, the Scion, Espada played phenomenally on this pick. Was constantly disrupting the entire team, and they were just too tanky. There was not enough damage. The ability to pick off Dorado Gaming when they were trying to go for plays that weren't fully set up was very well done by the side of XSV. And I mean, I put my hand up, mea culpa, for declaring that these champions in the game number 1 were takeaways. So I think we're good, but yeah, I mean, phenomenal.
Solid game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Dorado Gaming, again, feeling whiplash from how that early game went to how the rest of the game went. And I'm curious as to what the adaptations are. I've seen in chat, and I don't know Espada's champion pool well enough, but I saw someone jest in chat that Espada's champion pool is empty after this game number 1.
Scion plus Ornn. He plays a lot of those 2 champs, but he's got some other tanks in the back pocket. I wouldn't be surprised to see them, but I think we are going to get ourselves to a break here before we get to draft for game number 2 between Dorado Gaming, Iota, and Excessive. So we'll see you on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
We are back for draft of game number 2 of XSV Hydra versus Dorado Gaming Iota. We have swapped sides in this endeavor to make it to the grand finals. And we're back to be wanting top laners. Espada going to take that Renekton away as Cassante, I believe, is another takeaway. I don't recall Cali
Yeah,
G playing much Cassante, but I think they're really just trying to target down Espada, who, I mean, deservedly so, has been playing
had a great
phenomenally, at
sign on
least in
there.
this game number 1. But I think also Renekton is just like, or Cassandra is just a very good matchup as well into Renekton.
Oriana is going to be the pickup as well. I imagine we might see a Nocturne. There is also Hecarim, which has been starting to get some steam here and there as another good champion to combo with the ball. It's a little bit less consistent, but it is still a very good pick. Uh, it's just a matter of what your jungler is more comfortable playing, and CJ Lopez does seem pretty comfortable on these carries.
Yeah, I mean, CJ Lopez, I feel like is a, as I accidentally tabbed away from my draft. Um, I mean, I don't know what exactly CJ Lopez would pick. Obviously, the line would probably be Nocturne here, but Nocturne Cassante as a top jungle is a little bit concerning. Um, I think of this for me, especially now seeing the Victor, Jarvan would be very good. Uh, also Vi, as Wukong gets taken away. Again, this Victor champion is gonna piss me off because it's just gonna go bot. It could be mid.
It could be Maddie or it
It's
could be BKP. It's hard to say. You
knowing
can say
BKP, it
BKP
probably is mid, but
likes those role mages, and I
he
think
does like those control
although
mages.
this
Yeah.
is already a pretty AD heavy composition, so if there was a team to run a bottom lane mage with like a Ziggs or a Victor, this would probably be it.
Is this NBK by the way? MB, or is this
Shyvana, okay. Not exactly what I
another
expected to be comboed
instant
with the
Silas first
Orianna,
ban
but
on red
alright.
side?
I mean, at this point, I think it is also just targeting BKB's pool, but at the same time, Orianna ult, Shyvana ult, these are good ultimates for Silas to steal.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. I don't actually. I mean, I guess
It
they're
is
also
NBK.
concerned with where this Victor is going because thinking about it, jungle and top are already locked down with Wukong and Renekton,
There's
so
so
they're
many
worried that it
bottom
could
lane
be
bans. Oh
potentially,
my
it
god.
could be Matty Silas AD potentially.
This is 8 technically bottom lane bans with that Syndra as well. Ashe,
True.
Draven, Varus, Tristana, Lucian, Ezreal. Throw the
Very
kitchen
fun
sink at
world
the
we live
bottom
in,
lane.
eh, Brittany?
Samir's already gone as well, and so is Seraphine. Manaxia, what have you got in your back pocket? Oh, Caitlyn is still up.
Caitlyn.
Oh, never mind. It's
Yeah,
not
through
even a
all
back
these
pocket
bans,
pick.
Caitlyn
Never
is still
mind.
available.
Caitlyn still made it. What?
And I do like that they held support for last pick here. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think best in slot for Iota probably is Bard here. I think it would be phenomenal with what they have currently set up. There, I guess Shyvana is a decent Oriana delivery system, but it's not amazing. There seems to be a lot of denial going on with these champion picks, and I mean XSV could round it.
Okay, that's eggs.
I
Double
hate this meta.
mages. We love mage bottom. I mean, when you're looking
Oh,
at
are we
Caitlyn and
going
all of these
Camille as
bottom
well?
lanes,
Oh my god, they're gonna
no,
take
it
the
is going to be the
Bard.
bard. It is the bard takeaway. I like this. As much as I hate mages in the bottom lane, I feel like if there's a spot in the world where we can get mages and AD carries sort of in balance with each other, I'm fine with it. But right now they're just kind of dominating. But if you're thinking you're playing into Victor or potentially Ziggs, Caitlyn's kind of just the pick. You don't really want any other AD carry into that sort of matchup.
But also, there's not really many supports now left that I would like to play with Caitlyn. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
Nico is
Karma?
probably the one I
Nico?
would like the most here. I don't like Lux. I don't like Karma. I don't like Rakan either. I think Rakan
Rakan.
trying to go. I think Rakan trying to fly through a Wukong and Ziggs bomb as well as trying to play through Bard is going to be
This
really
is
hard.
this is a I don't care about lane. I'm playing for ball delivery system pick, I think. I think this is just Caitlyn's gonna be fine in lane. I'm gonna try and camp mid and make Victor very unhappy.
I I don't know the winning strategy versus Ziggs bot because it seems like most Ziggs, unless you're permanently like looking at what Dorado has, Ziggs is phenomenal because Shyvana is
Mhm.
not a champion that's going to be able to dive Ziggs well, very much ever. Um,
Kisante maybe if he could find the right angle with the all out, but even then,
but
that's
also
kind
just
of
like
iffy.
what Kasante's not going to be bought though. That's sort
Yeah.
of my head. When I look at it, it's like you either need to pick a champion that's going to hard like shove like the reason I said Nico is for the Caitlyn. You know, you
Mhm.
just play to shove wave, you play to try and deny as much CS under tower as possible from the enemy AD. But I mean, Ziggs Bard is a lane that can just equal out to whatever bot lane Dorado Gaming was going to pick. I know you said the Rakan is going to sack lane, but it's Caitlyn. You can't sack lane when you have Caitlyn. She needs to be accelerated. This champion is well
Mhm.
known for having one of the largest voids in the mid game when it comes to her damage spiking.
It's that power
Um,
trough.
and so if you're not able to support that, if you're not able to accelerate that, it is very difficult to play. And I would argue you picked two lanes in the Cassante and the Oriana that are going to be fine on their own and don't need the assistance of a roaming support.
So
And then
maybe
you
we're
pick the
just full playing for bottom lane? Like, Shyvana's just
but
gonna.
then you pick a support who's going to leave bot. That doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. I can't square
I
that circle.
it feels a little awkward. My only thought is that CJ Lopez and MBK are gonna spend so much time down here in bottom lane that Loveless is essentially roaming to his own lane and playing second jungler to the Caitlyn, giving Caitlyn like solo XP, but also just coming back in and pressuring the Ziggs whenever he can.
The problem is the only problem with that is that Ziggs will outshove the Caitlyn. And so
Yeah.
instead of the Caitlyn getting plates, it's going to be the Caitlyn getting shoved under her own tower
I'm trying really
and
hard to play
and
devil's
poked out.
advocate here for this
No, I know.
Caitlyn
I
Rakan lane,
understand
but
that, and I completely get it.
it is a struggle. It is. I mean, this is kind of the thing with these mages in bottom lane. It's so difficult to actually play these aggressive laners into them, like your Caitlyn's, even your Samiras. I mean, we saw
Pretty,
in that last game, Samira gets ahead, but the mage just outscales her.
but you know what we love, Brady, about drafting and the CCS
What do we love about
is that
drafting in the CCS?
these players are such a wild range of skill that what should happen in draft is rarely what actually happens in draft.
You're so right.
Uh, as evidenced by last game. But anyway, as we take a look now at this XSV side, I will argue I think they have a very comfortable composition to play.
This is
Espada
a
will be just
strong comp.
it's very strong. I think they have S tier champions in all five positions. Renekton probably is the lowest tier, is like the lowest one down on the tier list. But I mean, all these champions are phenomenal in their respective positions.
It's
And I
Renekton
find
versus
it
a bruiser slash
versus
tank.
Cassante. Yeah,
Yeah, and
it's like
Renekton will be fine in that matchup. And even with that, Wukong is probably actually allowed to play for top lane. And we saw Sutek kind of
yeah,
wanted to play for
exactly.
top in game number one. So if he wants to do that same style of clear where he clears, it's on blue side this time, so it would be Gromp
I
and then
I
Wolves and
don't
then
think Sutik can
blue.
do that this time.
I
I would
doubt it,
hate
but
that if
like if
Sutik
you
does it
wanted
this time.
to, you could sprint up top lane and get like a level 3 gank.
The the, the only thing in my head, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to poke fun, but the only thing in my head would be the quote, "If my grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike."
Yes! Oh my
That's how I
god.
feel. That's how I feel about if Sutek were to go up on a three camp on Wukong. As a jungler I'd feel sick to my stomach feeling it. Um,
I mean, it may
but
not be what they're, and like you said, these players sometimes will not do the things that we expect them to do.
No, absolutely not. And it's difficult because I want to call it out every time like it's a VOD review, but then I need to remember that I'm trying to be entertaining and trying to explain the game and trying to not make it sound like I just hate
We're
everything
not
I'm seeing on
just here
stream.
to nitpick the players. We're
Exactly,
also here to make
exactly.
them sound good too.
We could do that. We could absolutely nitpick, but anyway, there's a lot of vision and a lot of nonsense that we see that they don't. Um, I would argue that I think this the only losing the shopkeeper thing I'd say is Espada should go cleaver first,
It
and if he
should
goes
be
cleaver first, the game is won. But knowing how these players build, he'll just AFK go Eclipse first probably because that's what people
there's a
do.
there's a thought for Eclipse just because of the health bars that you're seeing with CJ, Callie, and Loveless, but I do agree. I think the honestly, I wouldn't even mind seeing double cleaver for both Sutek and Espada,
Yeah,
just
I
to
agree.
really get through
To
front
shred
lines.
for themselves. Yeah.
And the cleaver is just an efficient item right now. It's not League of Cleavers like we saw back in the old days, but it's a good item.
It definitely is a good item. Sutek probably can go Triforce as well this game. A lot of in comp, a lot of Wukongs will skip the Triforce and they'll just go
Mhm.
Thunder Sky into Cleaver. But in a game like this where you don't have as much 80 damage, I think you have to go the Triforce, unfortunately.
You
Which
really need to be bringing the physical damage unless Espada
yeah,
is going for the Eclipse first, and that's your real source of physical damage. But This is getting into a lot of the
That's
minutia.
situational because
Yeah,
then
this is a
Espada
lot of
is
situational stuff.
yeah. Well, no, I mean it's situational damage in terms of like Espada won't be with the team the whole time and can only
Probably
be
side by
using that
side.
additional physical damage from time to time. Um, but anyway, final thoughts in draft. I think again, XSV S tier picks in in every role. Dorado Gaming are picking comfort, is what it seems like. They're picking stuff that
Yeah,
they think will win because they're comfortable on it, and that could mean the world of difference in this kind of draft, in this kind of
it
game, and in this
can.
kind of rank. So,
There's something to be said
Brittany,
for picking comfort versus picking for actual meta.
absolutely. I was shut down after the draft for game number one, but
But we have it here.
would you like to introduce our segment before game number
This
two?
this is something that one of the producers and one of the chief content creators here at CCS loves to do with her casters. It's Kiss Mary Kill. It's the slightly family friendly version of another game that you may have known and loved. Uh, you get 3 champions, specific skins for each champion, and you choose who are you going to kiss, who are you going to marry, and who are you going to kill. Now, we already had our picks locked in, or at least I did, but I think we're going to be forced to pick here on stream, given our
Yeah,
producer's penchant
I
for
will DM them. I
making
will
us
DM them
suffer.
to MB in live. To be honest, I haven't looked at the images. I know Golden told me them earlier, and I didn't actually look. Um, Honestly, you know what? I know it's boring. I agree with Romeo and MB for all their choices. I'm gonna keep it a
Huh,
stack. I
okay.
know it's boring. I agree though.
I guess I will have to
These are
be
individuals of culture right here.
I'll have to be the detractor here, because I said I was gonna kiss Nidalee, marry Yunara, and kill Caitlyn. For a reason of
That
ACAB,
is,
but
hey,
also I really like Yunara as a character. I think she's really cool.
I that is true. That is true. Um, I I refuse to give my logic on stream. I just won't do it. You won't catch me slipping. Um,
You know what? At the very least, no one said kill Nidalee, which I think is the correct choice.
You
At
really,
very minimum, you shouldn't be killing Nidalee.
I will say, I didn't hear the first time you said it, your own picks, Brittany, but I
Mhm.
forgot. I have to switch my picks. It's ACAB.
oh,
I had to
I've
switch it.
converted another.
Completely forgot about
Let's
that for a
go.
second. I honestly, a little distracted. I was looking at the
You know
picture.
what?
I was thinking about
With,
Arcane, beautiful
all that
story.
rain, huh?
with Caitlyn, it's good to get distracted.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this isn't
I can't argue
arcane
against it.
Caitlyn. This is pool
This is
party
pool party
Caitlyn.
Caitlyn. Even more
This is
distracted,
not
yes.
arcane Caitlyn. Arcane Caitlyn would probably warrant different responses.
I
Oh,
met Arcane Caitlyn before I started playing League. That's, that's what I knew.
wow.
That's you know what?
I know people like this exist that who have like watched Arcane and then got into League. I don't think I've ever met one though. This is new.
Well, here's another
I
fun
have never
fact.
heard or met them.
I
So this is a
produced
double
League of
unique experience.
Legends before I ever played for at least like 2 or 3
Huh.
years.
Wow. Well, why would you start playing this terrible game?
I was away with no mic.
That's
Mm,
fair. Good comms.
yeah, that'll do it.
Could have played TFT, but chose League of Legends instead.
Oh, absolutely. All right, casters and
It's a
everyone.
It's a research opportunity.
We are going to go to a break before we get into our next game. Goodbye. Transition.
We are back on the Rift for game number 2 of Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV Hydra. Honestly, Brady, upon further review, we should have had MB bring us into this game. That would have been a lot funnier.
That would have been much better. You know, include the full transition into game and all that jazz. Just looking at the Rift across the board here, already a couple of surprising things. I'm shocked to see Espada go with the Doran Shield level 1 here. I would have thought for sure it would have been a Doran's blade at the very least, just to try and out-sustain the Cassante. Because you're not going to be eating a lot of poke, which is really what the shield is kind of designed around now, especially with the helm.
Oh,
being an
Sutek, what
item
are we
that
doing?
exists. Looking for a late in
Oh, no.
maybe?
I mean,
trying to
I
wrap
guess
this-
you're technically
okay.
stronger than the Shyvana, but, like, this is not a Wukong thing.
I mean, we're going to start to see them get engaged on. NBK is here. They're fighting over it.
There's the
Sutek will
smite.
get it, but
Doesn't get
still
level
level
2 though.
1, and NBK is just going to get the auto attacks down. Holding onto the flash is the Orianna, but I don't think has the damage to actually finish him off, so Sutek will steal most of that camp and just walk away. All right, interesting level 1.
I mean, it works. I just hate people who play like this. It's so flippy. And MBK's lane is also ruined now, unfortunately. For
Yeah,
them.
it gave BKP a lead.
It gave BKP a massive lead, unfortunately, but it's just like, for the record, they did that with no vision. They guessed
They
where
just
CJ
straight coin
Lopez
flipped.
was starting. And that's one of those situations where it's just like completely flip. And on a champion like Wukong, and when you have the better draft, it's just never worth to do that. In my opinion. You do what you want to do. But yeah, Sutek now, I mean, their own clear, again, I know we said we weren't going to do the whole nitpicking thing.
But you're a jungler,
But,
so your insight on this is, I think, pretty valuable.
So my only problem with this, right, for Wukong's sake, is yes, you get to be annoying and you stop CJ Lopez from clearing like this very early on, but you, as a result, there's two schools of thought to this. I could go on forever about this, and I probably shouldn't. But there's two schools of thought. There's the school of thought where you get the extra jungle snack from taking the camp, and so you're able to get your 900 or your 1000 smite earlier than the other jungler. That's great if you are able to then use it. So I will be able to evaluate in 3 minutes if Sutek is able to actually use that advantage. The downside is that as we look now at Sutek's jungle, his red and his Krugs are still up, which means that on his next sequence, not only will he have level 1 camps
So out of time.
versus CJ Lopez's level 4 camps, he also will have reset CJ Lopez's Raptors before. So, Kali G is going to get ganked here.
Kali is gonna get ganked, has the immediate flash away, gets away from the stun of Espada. Sutek continuing to
vu.
trade, but I think Kali is kind of happy to do this. It keeps Sutek out of his jungle for longer, and there's no topside camps for Sutek to clear. I'm shocked to see him path up this way.
Yeah, but also they called that Sutek didn't have his red buff. And so CJ Lopez is going to get a free red for their trouble. And
Yeah,
now all of
wow.
a sudden the red buff invade is going to mean, or the Raptor invade is going to mean nothing.
Yeah,
This
this
CJ
is
Lopez
really
is going to get
bad
that camp
for
to
Sutek.
equalize it. And it's going to be a more valuable camp.
I mean,
So-
honestly, he could turn down to Krugs if he really wanted to, but I think the smarter play is just
There's no
walk
push.
out.
There's no push. There's no push. CJ Lopez needs to be very careful here.
He wants it. Sutek is going to spot him out. A level down, though, so has to be aware. We'll continue
Bard
the
Victor
fight
moving.
with the Warrior Trickster. We do see Bard here. CJ Lopez forced a flash away. There's
Oh,
Maddie
goodness.
with the satchel charge, and Sutek will get gifted his red buff back. First blood to the monkey.
Oh, it's so greedy. You know the Wukong is basing there on the top side as Maddie's handbag forced to flash away. It's so greedy. Yeah. Not gonna nitpick. Not gonna nitpick. Very nicely well played. Good movement from Maddie's handbag to actually collapse onto CJ Lopez and make this play. But now Espada is on the wrong side of the lane, but does have the slice and dice to get out should they need it.
Not feeling too
but,
threatened, I think, by the pre-6
yeah, but also,
Cassante
I
and
mean-
pre-6 Shyvana. He's actually going to mess with CJ Lopez here a little bit. Slice and Dice is in. Gets that stun off, so CJ Lopez will eat a chunk of HP. And
Not that
BK
big
not
of
in
a
the
deal.
area, so confident to just step forward.
Should be able to get their health back from these camps. No big deal. Wukong is going to cross. We'll be spotted now on a pink, though, in this banana bush. And, I mean, these junglers... I want to talk about other stuff, but the jungle is, like, so weird and interesting this game because they're both
They have
behind.
made the game about themselves.
They're both behind is sort of is I guess the conclusion of this.
Yeah, 'cause
Through
normally,
the stuff they've done, they've somehow managed to put themselves both behind, which is
Yeah, normally
hilarious.
this second scuttle crab that spawns after the initial spawn, doesn't that normally get you level 6 for whoever gets it first, assuming a good clear, as NBK is forced to flash there in the mid lane, but will escape.
I mean, that's really big though. As long as Maddie's handbag can return to mid lane either once they have their flashback or once they get that level 6, it is very important. Sutek will not be 6 for a very long time, as CJ Lopez is going to be much closer to that level 6, considering they were able to get that red buff, as well as, I mean, I believe I don't know actually. I didn't follow who got what crab. I am surprised that Ragjan is opting to proxy farm, but I guess it's working, as they are currently
CJ
at
is on
20
the
CS
bottom
on
side.
KLAG.
Yeah, he will ding 6
Oh,
here.
CJ Lopez is 6, by the way.
Yeah, wow. I thought for sure he would have been farther behind. He just dinged 5 on his own camps. That second scuttle crab is really important.
It absolutely is, especially when you 3 buff.
Mhm.
They're also going to be able to hit this dragon now. Sutek is just level 5 after finishing their top side. And I
Dorado
mean, this
never
game,
unhappy with
as we
another
said in
dragon.
draft, is going nowhere close to what the estimations were for what was happening.
Just about. I don't think either of us really expected the level 1 invade from the Wukong. Even I was
Well, it's
talking crazy about a 3 buff gank, but he just said, no, level 1
don't get me
gank.
started. Don't get me started. Wukong is like, if you could offer Wukong the chance to like, honestly, if you offered me this game state on Wukong versus a traditional game state where I would have done 2 full clears of my jungle uninterrupted, I would have taken 2 full clears of my jungle uninterrupted versus Shyvana. Because then at least I would have been able to be towards whatever lane I wanted to be. I would have been supporting that draft pick. And then I also would have been like very close to level 6 myself and could have potentially contested the crab with my very strong mid, my very strong bot, and my very strong top laner who has been utterly running the lane. Granted, I had a little bit of help, but I would have been on that side anyway. I mean, here we are. This game is still very close, 1,000 gold in favor of XSV. A lot of people listening, I'm sorry if it sounds like hate. It just perturbs me the way that some of these players play, and I can't help myself but say stuff.
You have strong opinions in the jungle, and I think this is good, because when we start to see supports make bad build paths, ooh, nice steal there from Sutek. If we see supports start to make bad build paths, I will be just as fervent and perturbed.
I was gonna say,
So
which of
don't
the
worry,
50
you're in good
Bard
company.
builds are you expecting this game from Maddie's handbag?
I'm kind of expecting the movement speed one. I'm expecting to just see Dead Man's Plate first into really whatever secondary. I mentioned earlier, I play a lot of ARAM, so I see a lot of unique Bard builds, most of them static shiv focused, but I doubt we'll be seeing that from Maddie's handbag. I really do just expect to see movement speed, Swifty boots, Dead Man's Plate, maybe even a Force of Nature, just run them out.
Hypothetically, what would your reaction be if you saw Leandri's, just for the sake of science and to know where you stand on that build?
I might vomit in my mouth a little bit, because I think that's just not a good item on Bard. You have 1 damaging spell to apply Leandries. That's just not good.
Doesn't it apply on your meeps though?
I
think it does. I think that's why people build it, because it applies on meeps.
I
Anyway,
can't say I've seen a Bard build Leandries recently, so I'm not 100% sure.
Anyway, look very quickly at Manaxia's build. That is a BF sword in the Caitlyn's inventory. So despite what we were worrying about in draft of the Caitlyn is not going to be able to accelerate herself, she not only has a BF sword, but she was able to buy that by 9 minutes while also purchasing a cull,
Yeah,
which is not normal.
This Caitlyn is up in CS. I mean, this is the kind of the
Oh, Loveless.
incredible thing is BKP is going to get engaged on your Shockwave and the Dragon's Descent, acing the hole as well, but CJ Lopez does not want to give the kill for an 80 carry. Manaxia will go home wanting, but CJ Lopez gets on the board.
That's one where if you lose this game in review, whoever their coach is will be upset, because
You give your Caitlyn the kill.
you gave your Caitlyn the kill every time there, especially since you're not ganking her lane. But, I mean, very well played from the side of Dorado Gaming there. Very, very good trigger finger from Loveless to pop the quickness and wait for BKP to flash before committing the grand entrance there. So, I mean, very well played. As, yeah, I mean, this Dorado Gaming side, they have been roaming very well. This has been the case for both games so far. The problem has come when CJ Lopez and Loveless, I believe, get a little bit high on their supply and start making a little bit over aggressive plays. But I mean, ooh, Cali G
Spada in a little bit of
going all out.
trouble. Cali G will get him all out under the tower, but just the health bar. Spada, nice use of the slice and dice there, will escape.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see the value of this connection here in the matchup. I am surprised that Cassante was picked this game. I'm curious if it's Cali G thinking it's a good matchup or it's just more potential. I know I said this before, but I think it might just be more denial picks from the spot.
Yeah, I need to try to drain the tank pool as Cali G won't be able to pull Espada back that time. I do also want to point out Espada opting for the Black Cleaver first. Sutek going for the Triforce first. We called that out at the very least correctly in draft.
I mean, it's I don't is Luden's, by the way, speaking of shopkeeper, is Luden's correct for Ziggs? I feel like it would be Blackfire.
I think both are fine. You just need a lost chapter item, and as long as it isn't Malignance, you're doing fine. I think they're kind of interchangeable at times. If you're looking for more burst, you want Luden's. If you're looking for more sustained, you want Blackfire and then Leandry's. But I think given that you have a Victor on your team to do that sustained burn, you can kind of just say, yeah, I'll throw my one combo on somebody with a Luden's proc and like a Shadow Flame, and they'll just die.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Thinking about Caitlyn and Orianna trying to survive a Mega Inferno Bomb with Luden's and Shadow Flame, I don't see them living very often.
I am also happy that it's going to be the Yuntal Wild Arrows from Anaxia. I feel like this item, when it got added into the game, people were really excited about it, and then they just sort of dropped it very quickly as... I'm going to put that talk on pause as Espada is going to pop the Dominus, gets caught in his own Bard ult, unfortunately trying to flash engage onto CJ Lopez. We'll trade the flashes back with NBK and CJ, but now Maddie, potentially the one in trouble. There's the Dragon's Descent, and they're onto the Yordle. Maddie flashes away. The headshot's there in time, and the Lethal Tempo proc doesn't kill, but Manaxia wants the damage, picks that one up. Cali G, who came down with the walk, will pick up that second kill as well. Just straight walked in. I saw teleport on cooldown, and I was like, oh, obviously, top laner teleported to the fight. But no, he hoofed it. God bless him.
Yeah, no, they both walked down. That was really well played from Loveless again. Another great usage of the quickness to catch them out. Dragon did go the way of XSV, so that one Mountain Dragon will be nice as they move forward in this game. But so much trading in the mid lane as unfortunately NBK is denied that cannon. Who I will note, because we made fun of them in game 1. Thank you for coming off of streamer mode. We appreciate it here.
Thank you, NBK.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great engage. Sutek, unfortunately, I think a little bit desynced Maddie. I don't know what really was the plan here, as a very nice pinch from both sides catches the XSV 80 carry. And I believe on the other side, Sutek as well, yeah, goes down. So it's going to be a 2 for 0 here. And unfortunately, that kill goes to Cassante. I feel like... This is another problem in these ranks where it's just like donating kills is not really a thing, especially when players are dead to rights. Which is, I guess Cali's going for Iceborne Gauntlet, so it's not so bad to get that accelerated gold, especially when they've stopped to pick up a Bramble Vest, which is a big gold investment alongside your tabbies. But
it's a lot of armor for Cali G, and I'm looking at 2 mages who are building a lot of AP, and I'm immediately getting concerned for Cali G.
Yeah, but Cali G is going to go Fawn, right? And
oh yeah, absolutely. We'll go Force of
item.
Nature. I mean, Force of Nature, and then maybe a Canic Rooker if you really need that much magic resist. But honestly,
yeah, but it definitely won't just be Canic Rooker as the only.
It won't be Canic Rooker into Hollow Radiance. It won't.
Especially when I don't know exactly what runes BKP is running, but I'm assuming one or both of them are running DFT. Which
I know BKP is running DFT and Maddie is running Comet.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, and BKP will instantly stack the Fawn. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Won't rage. But no, I mean, take a look at the game state so far. It is there's a lot of parity here. Jungle being, I think, the biggest discrepancy on both sides here. As Triforce is completed for both, but CJ Lopez is up about half a level on Sutek right now. With jungle camps fairly even. Yeah, I mean, same item, has those finished boots. But yeah, I mean, Sutek not even level 10 with this clear of the jungle. And I think this game has been going really well for CJ Lopez in terms of the pacing. Shyvana, a champion that's very ultra-reliant, has no flash in MBK.
Nothing going to dive there. I think that's the right call. You don't really want to dive in Orianna with ult, especially if you don't know where CJ Lopez is.
I want to point out as well for Manaxia, they're going for another AD item here. My guess, considering it's a pickaxe, it's probably gonna be Hex Optics.
It could be Hex Optics. It could be not Lord Doms, but it could be Infinity Edge or Hex Optics. I think both would be good here, as Maddie is gonna eat an auto attack or two, but nothing more than that. As Minoxia, nice little
Dodge.
sidestep away from the Tempest
Satchel.
Fate, but yeah, still plenty of damage. Trying too hard to sidestep. The burst will come through. Electrocute for Maddie's handbag. Will just take that kill. In the meantime, topside, Rift Herald will go over, but just over aggression from Minoxia.
Yep, Bard moment as well, taking the kill there, unfortunately. But yeah, Minoxia was just trying to dodge and just too many skill shots and too many things on their screen to really
Sometimes
walk
you
away
just
from.
walk up and auto attack while your opponent
Yeah,
is trying
I
too
mean,
hard to dodge. And you just cover distance.
I think one of those things was maybe I feel like Minoxia could have actually done a fairly sizable chunk of Maddie's health bar there, as neither of the EDs actually had any flashes there. But I mean, on the other side, I think you get an equivalent trade. Yes, you lose that tower, but you're able to get. I think that was going to happen anyway, given how much Loveless has been walking around. It's also Ziggs with the satchel. You're able to knock that tower. I believe it's 25% HP.
It got nerfed to 25, and it's still really good. It used to be 33% health on the turret.
Yeah, that's
It's disgusting.
A flip into the all out for Cali G, but yeah, I mean 25%, and now the Ziggs is mid. Everyone's done with their quests. I think Minoxia needs to move mid as well. Can agree that extra wave and make their mid laner upset, but it is what it is.
Maddie's handbag actually still isn't done with quests yet. Still waiting on those last couple of procs, but we do see Loveless finished up with his. Yeah, everybody else on the map is, but this is kind of the issue with Bard. If you're roaming around picking up your meeps all the time, you don't always get to stack the item, as we'll take a little bit of damage here. MBK procs that Storm Raiders, but just forced to walk out instead.
Yeah, Dragon is up as well, and it looks like Renekton will be the first to move from topside, but teleport is available for Cali G. Should the Renekton choose to make the walk all the way down?
This signals to me that he might want to teleport back up when the fight is over.
I mean, that would be the preferred. That would be preferred, but he is going to drop a wave to make this happen. As TP now from the Cassante.
Maybe a little over-aggressive, but does have the TP shield, so isn't going to be hurting a lot as that engage happens. CJ Lopez holding on to that Dragon's Descent. Dragon is now started up. Loveless looking for the engage, doesn't find anybody with a grand entrance, but finds the charm on a BKP, immediately flashes away. Ace in the hole doesn't do too much, but now Sutek into the back line. There's the Dragon's Descent, and finds a two-man shockwave, but CJ Lopez is the first to go. Sutek will immediately die after as Minoxia gets the auto attacks off. Now unstoppable over the wall is Cali, looking for Maddie, but it's not enough damage, and now the rest of the team is there to support BKP, trying to chase him down alongside Maddie's handbag, but the Dragon is still up. Both junglers are down, so there's no smites here to be going. It's just a matter of who's got the burst. 1,400 health, 13, 12, 11. They're taking it down. Dorado doesn't manage to find his target, down to 6, down to 4, 2, 1. Who's got it? Who's going to get the last auto? Maddie goes down to Minoxia over the wall. It's Cali to find the Dragon. Maddie's handbag now looking for NBK, but the shields are just a little too much. On double kill for Cali G. Dorado come out on top.
What a wild fight. Both junglers going down to the start. There's not a single smite available. I was curious if Loveless was gonna be able to scamper away to use their spellbook to swap to a smite, but it did not matter. Cali G with the clubs able to knock that one down. This fight was so good for Dorado Gaming. I thought that Ziggs ulti was gonna do a whole lot more, but the shockwave able to land onto 2, as you said, and find so much damage. And then Cali G buying so much time, pulling Maddie away from this fight. And then it became a situation of, I was shocked that they all decided to chase Cali G, but I guess Maddie would not have been able to deal with it at the time. And then look at this play from Minoxia, being able to use the Caliber net to get away from BKP's burst while trading about 60% of their health bar with the support of Loveless. And then the mechanics are fantastic. Maddie unfortunately stepping on a trap, getting a headshot for free, as Minoxia holding the wall. I'm not sure what Maddie's handbag was trying to do there with that flash. Maybe it was trying to flash Q to make sure Minoxia gets stunned, but it does not matter. Goes so low. MBK and Loveless dipping, dodging, and diving around these fights. And it was an ace for the side of Dorado Gaming, as now we are back in the action as BKP going to try and
but
live.
BKP does not survive in the side lane and gets picked up, and with Minoxia being forced out of mid, that's going to be bad mid turret going down too.
Yeah, it absolutely should be, and it looks like that Herald's going to get popped in the top lane, try and knock someone down. Only one plate, though, on the top tower, so not going to get the most value from it. But this Ziggs is doing so much as there's, again, a mass. This tower might go down as well, given how much damage is coming out here.
Minoxia's here, but 1v3, how much defense can you actually do? Maddie
no satchel with Cassante coming up from behind.
Yeah, satchel will finally take it, but now the ace in the hole. Maddie Gets down to under a quarter HP, but now
Quickness.
Kaliji's in the area, and Topo Strikes will take down the kill. Maddie's gone, so where's the damage now for XSV? Kali will take Maddie's handbag back into the team with the all-out Manaxia now on a rampage. Is Caitlyn way past
Baron on
her
the table?
power drop. She's accelerated.
Baron might be on the table here for Dorado Gaming if they're able to knock down the Renekton. But with 2 dead for the side of XSV, it looks like they're going to try. This is going to be very tough for Dorado Gaming to do in the face of a Victor. I don't know if this is really going to be the option.
He's got a lot of crit. She shreds through this Baron health bar very quickly, and I just don't think there's an
9K,
angle
they
for
don't have
BKB
vision
to
on
get
Sutek.
in. Sutek, though, over the wall. If he can get a ward down, doesn't have a ward, so he's just going to have to flip it. Nice smite, though, for CJ Lopez. He will be able to handle it. Burger flip not in favor. Dorado takes
I'm
the
shocked. I'm shocked that they sniffed that out and BKP didn't have the confidence. Oh, Dragon's Descent gonna go
speaking of
onto BKP,
BKP.
trying to use the gravity well.
Ooh, Tempered Fate plus the Gravity Well, but BKB gets stunned up by that Pathmaker, and Kalaji with the flip back should just be able to handle it. CJ Lopez giving the kill.
This chain dying is going to be a very big problem for XSV if they're not able to stem the bleeding. I mean, 30 seconds now with Baron in their pocket. Dorado Gaming Iota looking to go back onto the map. I think CJ Lopez needs to extend their play. I know they're probably sitting on a full item here in base, but I think they need to start playing forward with their team. This mid tower needs to be broken if you are Dorado Gaming. And with Ziggs bot and Victor dead, you need to capitalize and take that down, especially with Dragon spawning in 90 seconds. You need to be able to start pushing these mid waves and really, you know, pressure XSV in terms of on the mid wave. Loveless and Manaxia trying to use this Baron to take down the bot tower, as it looks like NBK trying to knock this mid one down.
Six just eats these waves for breakfast, though. The only real threat is Manaxia with that headshot stacked up. But, I mean, again, Caitlyn is past her power trough. She's already got over 50% crit. She's going to be headed towards what I think is going to be the Hex Optics third item, maybe a Lord Dom's.
It should be It should be Last Whisper.
Yeah. Spot up. Looking straight back for Kali with Sutek in the area. Kali kind of difficult to take down in this Cassante. Level 16 already to the level 12 of Sutek. A little bit of trouble. The Cyclone's there, pulling him back over the wall with the all-out, and now Sutek's the one in trouble. BKB, though, in the area, has to flash back over the wall. BKB with the Arcane Storm. Do they finally have the damage to take down
Kali.
Sutek? Won't survive! Kali in the 1v3 finds the value. He'll make it a 1-for-1 in the bottom side. Manaxia finds 2 quick kills. Dorado stays winning.
And on the other side, the bell tolls for Maddie, and Maddie's handbag falling to the dive of CJ Lopez, Manaxia, and Loveless. A great usage of the ultis there. CJ Lopez not even forced to use the Dragon's Descent there, as the quickness was enough damage, or was enough setup rather, for this play. And with the Baron recall, they're going to have so much time still on the map. At least an 8-second advantage on the map before this Wukong is able to join the Bard. And with that and Dragon spawning in 3 seconds time, look at the vision already in the bot side. Fantastic job by Loveless and the rest of Dorado Gaming for controlling this vision. XSV going to be forced to walk into fog, and that mid tower is gone. And so they're going to be able to start pushing these waves further and further into XSV's face. Granted, this is not the first time, nor will it be the last time, that we will be facing a lot of these double mage compositions. And to the teams staring them down, the ones that will win and the ones that will lose all come down to who is patient enough to wait for them to make a mistake and team fight when they're not prepared to. Because you're not going to be able to ever actually push a wave versus them, as now actually with Baron, as I say it, they pushed the Ziggs out of lane, they shoved him up top lane, and they're going to be able to take at least 3 autos on this tower. That's going to be big, as Mega Inferno Bomb going to clear the wave.
At the very least, but that's a big team fight ultimate now not available. Maddie opting for what I think is going to be either Zhonya's or Deathcap third. Yeah, the cooldown is a lot.
But look at the cooldown.
Yeah, the cooldown's a lot shorter than I expected it to be, actually. I forget.
It may as well be Lux ulti.
Yeah. Mage cooldowns are maybe a problem. Maybe.
Yeah, especially with all the CDR that Maddie built as well, you know? Look at all that CDR
in
his inventory.
That Ludens and...
sorry, my mistake. He has Ionian boots. My bad.
Yeah, that 10 extra
My bad.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it for sure is also like rank 2, so it's got like a 0-second cooldown anyway. But anyway, all the joking aside, Mage is broken. Riot, please fix it. 3 items now in Manaxia's inventory. It was that Lord Dominic's Resolve third item, and it looks like they're going for another AD item here. We don't stand any sort of what's it called? Zeal
No,
items here
no
for
attack speed
Manaxia.
really necessary once you pick up that Yuntal. Not even attack speed boots. Manaxia opted for the Swifties just for extra spacing and extra bit of like timing around the gameplay.
Yeah, when you're having to dodge around from Victor and Zig's abilities, it is very nice. Unfortunately, I've talked about the gold efficiency of a lot of items, and I think I said this last week. Sterix Gauge is like bottom four completed item gold efficiency
You
values.
really need to find value out of the ultimate, and you really need value out of the tenacity. And I'll be honest, into this Dorado team, there just isn't a lot for either.
It's a lot of knockups. It's like a micro charm as well from Loveless, and I don't think you can cut that down for much more. The only thing you're really cutting down in terms of tenacity is like maybe the trap duration and or the fear from CJ Lopez, which is already cut from with your Merc Treads, which I think should be probably tab eyes given how much Manaxia is going to be dealing in the rest of this game. But anyway, Espada has been doing a good job so far this game, though, in keeping Cali G behind, but trying to get vision in the spot side MBK.
Nice little stun, but MBK still does plenty of damage. You have to be aware. It looks like he's gonna offer the. It looks like he's gonna go for the Leandry second, proving me wrong immediately. Leandry barred on the table.
Oh my god! I said it as a joke.
I think Maddie's handbag heard you.
It was a well-informed joke, but it was a joke nonetheless. That is pretty typical though of bards that go for this electrocute. They opt to try and be that extra little bit of damage, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think when you're playing against Shyvana and Orianna, a Locket would be very helpful.
You have a double mage comp, like Locket would be really good.
Really
Mikhail's wouldn't even be terrible.
It could be it could be Bloodletters. It could be Bloodletters instead of Leandry's.
It could be Bloodletters,
which is still not amazing, but it's at least hopefully more useful. But at that point, why not just go for an Abyssal
Maddie's
Mask?
handbag is in a lot of trouble here. Has to flash away from that grand entrance from Loveless. Will manage to survive though.
But this is the part of the game that I was talking about before, where it's very frustrating because you don't have the wave priority that you would like. If you are, and this is what Dorado Gaming have decided to do. You need to force them to fight you, and the turn has to be quick and it has to be efficient. As
Tempered Fate
already going wide.
MBK playing bodyguard, keeping Espada out of this pit as much as he can, but he's going to get engaged on now. Loveless there for the backup with that grand entrance. Espada going to take plenty of damage. The Dominus pop, but he has to flash away from the fireball. Now Cali G also playing defense. Sutek trying to sneak in, but Cali G sniffs him out, forces the flash out of the Wukong. Flashes in for the team though. No shockwave is there, but the descent is enough. Loveless plus CJ Lopez cleaned house on the fight. And this Dorado team is just so far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we're back now to the exact situation for the last Baron, where it's bot lane dead for the side of XSV. Sutek trying to go for the steal again. That blue trinket is not going to spot them, as Loveless now will with that ward. TP coming in.
TP in for NBK. Sutek just looking for an
smite early from the Rakan.
4K. No smite available for the Rakan. Sutek does have the Cyclone, gets himself out, but he's just forced all the way out. Smite early, but it does not matter. He headshot there. Manaxia will finish off the Baron, and the game is starting to feel a little unlosable for Dorado.
Yeah, I mean, especially Sutek using that Cyclone there to live. I mean, I guess it's death or you don't have your ulti for the soul fight.
You're either dead for soul fight or you don't have ult for soul fight. And I'm going to be honest, I'd rather have smite than an ult. Or a dead ult, I guess.
Yeah, but honestly, at this point, can you even play the soul? I don't think you can.
You have to try.
You don't have the lightning storm. You don't have the cyclone. Dragon's already down to 6k.
Spada already taken down to half HP. The poke from this Dorado comp is just so difficult to deal with, and Matty, as much as he's trying to match, just can't do it on his own. Temper Fate finds 2, but where's the follow-up? Mega Inferno Ball flashed away. Maxia will only take half of it. Smite comes through for CJ Lopez, and that should just be it. Shockwave only finds 1 of the BKP, but it's the target they needed. CJ Lopez goes dominating, chasing down the Wukong on the bottom side of your map. NBK finds the kill. Revenge on his enemy mid laner. And these carries for Dorado, just too damn strong.
Dorado Gaming are smiling ear to ear after taking that, as Matty gets a cheeky little steal on that Raptor. But Dorado Gaming, if you ask them what soul they would want this game in order to deal with the XSV comp, Ocean would be the first thing on their list, followed shortly after by Mountain. And look at the health bars. They are already back to full. Matty, all he can do is stare and watch his towers fall as this cannon will start powering down the tower. And with Baron buff, it's going to take longer. And honestly, Matty staying at low HP could be very risky, considering that the engage from the Rakan has been so quick and so efficient.
Yeah, Loveless has
Taking a
looked
look down now.
fantastic in this
Kalaji.
game. The Nautilus last game wasn't bad by any stretch, but was just sort of shut down by the comp that XSV had. But now Cyclone and Sutek is the target. They're looking for the all-in. They find one, but it's traded back immediately. NBK looking for his way in, but it's just the cleanup. Loveless doesn't even die to the Mega Inferno Bomb. A triple kill for CJ Lopez. Not a clean ace, but an ace regardless. And Dorado are going to look to open up the game.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit more than opening up the game. That might be the game itself. As the inhibitor tower is going to fall for XSV, the first one of this series so far, as will the first inhibitor fall. There are 2 minions that can tank this tower potentially with the wave coming in support, and that should be all she wrote for Dorado Gaming Iota. Being able to take down the first Nexus tower, followed shortly by the second, and I mean, this game is exactly the kind of bounce back you want to see. You had a bit of a hiccup in game 1 after getting your lead, and now a very, very efficient and convincing game number 2 victory for this red side here. It appears, Brittany, that despite the compositions being in the favor of the teams that we have thought for the first 2 games, it has been the comfort. It has been the ability to play around what you are good at that has been the deciding factor so far. And I look at that Kalaji Kasante staring at me on the left there, and I think, what does Espada have left?
He's just mogging us. He's just standing there.
He is just mogging us, to be fair. So is Shyvana as well.
Yeah, but when Shyvana does it, I get a lot happier.
You know,
anyway, a
more
great game there for Dorado. They're going to even up the series, which I think is really good for them. 1-1 all. A lot of the comfort picks taken out of the pool, like you mentioned, for Espada, for Maddie. I think the bottom lane mages are essentially gone now. Victor, Zig, Seraphine, and if Syndra remains on the ban list,
yeah,
that's all of them, really.
Talia
Unless you're
exists
gonna
as well still.
You could lock in something like Talia Pantheon bottom lane, but I'm gonna be honest, I think we're mostly gonna be seeing ADCs for the rest of this match. I imagine Mel
should be,
like,
unless XSV decide to ban them all. No, I mean, in terms of mage bottoms, it is just Talia, Syndra, and Mel, I think, are sort of the big ones left. I don't really think we'll be seeing much of anything else. I expect that all of a sudden, you know, your Shivers will have very high priority next game. Potentially your Zaya, potentially your Yunara will be the very high priority. Although I don't imagine either of these supports are really looking forward to playing something like Lulu. If the Yunara is the priority, I just don't think that's in their wheelhouse necessarily. I think they could probably play it pretty convincingly, but it's not what they're best at. I could not. If I see Loveless Lulu roaming mid at level 3, I might die a little.
Absolutely horrified.
But no, I mean, in terms of that game number 2, Dorado Gaming really bounced back. They were able to use Loveless's roaming and CJ Lopez pinching mid. Kali G was the anchor on the top side, despite Espada being annoying and proxying the whole time. They also were the survivor of a weird Sutek level 3 gank that worked on them in game number 1 as the Ornn, but did not work in this one. And
so mayhaps we'll expect to see that in game 3 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine so. I mean, and then we go back to what I said earlier on. If you offered me the 2 full clears on Wukong versus whatever the heck it was that happened in the early game, I would have chosen the 2 full clears because, as we saw, Shyvana was level 6 and was uncontested on that dragon with that level 6 timer, and Wukong, unfortunately, since then and for the rest of the game was perennially down a whole level, half a level to a whole level through the rest of the game. And just some great shot calling from Dorado, and unfortunately some unlucky positioning from XSV just meant that this red side was far too powerful.
Yeah, good showing from Dorado there for game number 2. We'll take that one and tie up our series 1-1. So at the very least, we got 2 more games left to go. On the other side of this break, we'll get ready for the draft for game number 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We are back with the draft for game number 3 of Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV Hydra. As I'm trying to reorient my computer, there we go. Bans have happened, and we are back to first picking top laners. I don't know what's going on. I genuinely don't know. I have never
I
seen
mentioned
this.
earlier that the mages bottom lane were gone. I totally forgot about Hue. That's a bottom lane mage that Maddie could be picking here. It's flexible between him and BKP.
Wow, Sivir is the answer. I never would have guessed that we basically
You're
are
picking
playing
wave clear versus a bottom lane mage? Oh my
we're
god.
playing the AD mage bot lane versus the mage bot lane. Who would have guessed? I actually don't know at all about this top lane matchup between Zahen and Mordekaiser. Again, could
Are we blind picking Zillion? Is this real? Oh my god, it's real.
is this time for the Silas?
I have a hatred for this champion. I despise this champion. He is low key, high key, incredibly broken, but because nobody plays him, he's just gone under the radar for like years. 99% slow point and click, the double bomb AoE stun, the ultimate, everything about this champion is ridiculously absurd. Not to mention the passive giving you free XP. This champ is absurd.
And Vayne locked in. What?
Is okay, so it could
Is this Mordekaiser jungle Vayne
it
top
could be
way
more
bot,
jungle
or
Vayne
is it-
top into Zahen.
I hate this.
Because I
hate
don't
this.
know
I
if
hate this.
I don't know if you pick Vayne into Zillion Sivir. That
You definitely
feels
don't.
bad. Yeah, that feels really bad.
I mean, it could be. You know what? I'm going into this assuming it's Vayne top, Mordekaiser jungle, and Hue bot. And I'm also envisioning that it will be a Silas ban from Dorado Gaming, considering they have Zillion. Olaf is banned away, so they're not convinced that it is going to be the What? But why would they ban Olaf if it's Vayne top? What?
In case the Zahen flexes to jungle, I guess.
Yeah, but wouldn't Vayne eat Olaf top lane?
Yeah, but your one way of getting away from him is condemned. So if you get hit by an undertow, you can kind of just get run over and die.
But you just final hour and he can't auto it, and he can't auto you, and so he drops his ulti. Then you can
It
condemn
feels
him.
like a skill matchup.
No.
I mean,
Mars
this is
banned as
telling me that
well.
this is telling me
Those are
that
both
they
those are
don't
both Mordekaiser answers. Just so
yeah,
we're
they
aware.
don't expect the Zahen to be going top lane. They're expecting it to be jungle.
Yeah, but those are both Mordekaiser bans, which makes you think it's Mordekaiser top.
Yeah, they're
Which
expecting
is
the Zahen to be jungle.
really weird.
Mordekaiser top, Vayne, I guess then bottom lane, unless BKP is pulling out the Vayne.
Lula was banned, so they also believe it might be Vayne bot. I'm surprised Silas was left up though, considering that jungle and mid are still potentially open for the side of XSV.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be a lot of magic damage. But there's not a whole lot of tankiness currently on the Dorado Gaming side, so overloading on one particular type of magic damage or one particular type of
I like
damage
this Renata pick though.
wouldn't be that big of a deal. Yeah, we get modern day Zillion.
I like the
with
Renata
Renata.
Glask. I think this is a good pick for this XSV comp.
We
Putting
have been
bailout on
proven
either
time and
Mordekaiser or
again
Vayne, it's good.
that what the meta dictates is not necessarily what is going to work in this series so far. And so XSV's comp could be the best champions for them. I am very curious how they round it out, but taking a look at this blue side here, I imagine we're going to pick a mage.
Go.
Oh, we're picking nothing. We're picking
A
Camille.
nun pick. So
It
I
should be
imagine they
Camille.
meant to lock in Camille there. Yeah,
So
Camille,
Camille
on
on
4.
4,
So
which
then
presumably
what's the
means that it's
fourth
either
pick?
Zillion mid with Camille support, or it's Zahen top or Zahen jungle with Camille top. Who knows? It might be
I
another
don't know
flex
the Camille
here.
versus Mordekaiser matchup. Is this a winning matchup for Camille?
I don't know. I really don't. I would imagine this is okay.
Okay, so
So
it's
it's
Zillion
Zillion mid. So it's Zillion mid.
but
Presumably
Camille
Gwen jungle,
support
Zahen
versus
top.
Camille support versus these picks is this is an awful lane for Camille, isn't it?
I don't know.
Is Vayne Renata not just gonna poke you out
It
and
should
run
be
you over?
awful. It should be very awful for Camille to play, but it is very good versus Vayne. And I don't know. Like,
So I guess it's just a matter of are they
there's
going
no
with
amount of
Quay
game
bot?
knowledge that can tell you what's going where here. And it is going to
Okay,
be Vayne bot.
Quay's
It's going to be Vayne
mid,
bot, Hue
Vayne is
mid,
bot.
Mordekaiser top. Oh,
Okay,
it's jungle.
everything went where we expected it to at the start. we're good, everything's fine. The Zillion shifted around, but that's whatever.
Yeah.
League of Flexes. Okay.
You know, we may as well talk about the XSV side while we wait to try and confirm where the Dorado gaming stuff is going.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, don't know what the top lane matchup is. So this Mordekaiser, I think the worst matchup for this Mordekaiser is probably the I would imagine it's the Camille, but it's probably Camille bot. My guess is that it's Sahan staying top with Gwen jungle and Camille bot and the Zillion
The
mid.
Gwungle.
That would be my guess. But Gwen jungle is not great into Belveth. She loses the duels very much so early, and with the
Mhm.
push that she's gonna, is that Varus meant to be? Is that Varus?
No, that should be Vayne. Unless
Could be.
because I think the Varus was banned out, if I remember right.
Okay,
No,
thank you.
Varus
All
wasn't
right,
banned out this time.
yeah,
They didn't
it
ban
doesn't
top
matter.
lane
I
until the
think it
second
was
half.
Vayne. It was Vayne. It was Vayne. Anyway, Vayne around the bot lane is odd. I think the only things that are normal here is Hui mid and Mordekaiser top
And even
with Renata
Mordekaiser is
support.
an off-meta pick, that's for sure.
And I think it's been picked a lot in at least CCS recently. But again, there's not really much analysis I can do here before knowing exactly where
Yeah,
the Dorado gaming stuff is going. It's
I
like
think this is really just a matter of
it's like
where the
I even
focus of the
see
developers
even
wants
if
to
I
be,
look
I
at this comp,
guess.
I see holes. Right, there's no
Yeah,
engage unless it's like
you
Belveth flying in and trying to W someone, but even then, that's not very good. It's
you're
really only Hui.
praying that to not like Dorado will engage for you, and then you can counter engage with Wei, Renata, and Belvath. But at the same
Is
time,
her.
what's Dorado's engage? Like they get someone with
This is
Camille's, they double
like
bomb
I'm feeling
somebody.
really dumb, but also like this is just too stupid even for me. Like I will say I do like Sivir into their composition. I feel like they're going to be fairly grouped, and
Mhm.
the bouncing blades will be good. With trying to hit the vein and stealth, you're just able to hit whoever's next to her, and it'll bounce to her. The Zillion will be solid to allow the Gwen to be really dominant in these fights, and even if someone does, unfortunately, it's Gwen top with Zahen jungle.
So it is. So they were right. It is Zahan jungle. They banned out the top laners.
I mean, that's fine. I think Zahen jungle is.
Fine. He's okay. His clear is not awesome, as far as I've heard.
No, it's not amazing. It definitely will get out cleared by Belveth. He'll also get out dueled, which is slightly problematic.
Yeah, I think that's really the scary part. The getting outdueled by Belveth early, especially because Belveth is one of those infinite scaling champions. If she gets ahead, this could be a problem for Dorado. But I feel like every time we've had an opinion on the draft, it has gone the opposite way once we've actually hit the rift. So
Well, what I will
Belveth
say
is
though is that
just
we
gonna
have
get
two
run
different
over
support
early.
styles this game.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's going to be very interesting to see how Loveless versus Maddie's Handbag plays this one. Loveless, I imagine, will continue the psychotic roaming play style, and there's
playing
not really
Camille,
going
he
to be
kind of has to.
anything. I mean, it has to on Camille, but there's not really going to be anything that XSV can do to punish the Sivir. She's just going to build the Essence Reaver, full clear waves, and allow their Camille to go off and do what they want to do.
It is
And
very
that's
much a
just
facilitator AD carry, and you even have
going to
people
be
who
the
like
state of
being
the world.
facilitated, like the Gwen
Yeah.
and the Zahan really like having that extra speed from the Yonda hunt.
Yeah, and when you have Zillion mid as well, like you can just completely fully focus on the top lane. And that's gonna be very awkward considering that yes, you would ideally be sending 2 or 3 top lane to deal with this Mordekaiser. Then the Mordekaiser can just grab someone and make it a 1v1, even though it's supposed to be a 3v1.
I think
So it is
that's the word I would use to describe this draft for both sides. Awkward. It feels like
yeah.
neither team really got exactly what they were planning for, but I don't think either team is unhappy with what they got necessarily. It's just a little off kilter.
Someone did say, quote, I want Vayne versus their comp. And by someone I mean Maddie.
Hmm.
Maddie said, I see Zahen, Zillion, and Sivir. Give me Vayne.
Okay,
Which
that
is a
you
choice.
can appreciate the confidence at minimum.
Which is a choice. Maybe they've been playing a lot of low classic and they're feeling confident on Vayne.
Dylan, we have
But who
to go in.
knows?
One of those
Because I
moments.
certainly don't, and I'm gonna call it because I mean, we could yap all day about what could and couldn't be, but
We
will
won't know
not
until we
know
hit the
until we
rift.
hit the rift. So we're gonna take a short break while we load into game and get set up. So stick around for Game 3 of Dorado Gaming Iota versus XSV Hydra. We are back on the rift. There's already shenanigans going on.
Oh,
Loveless is
no.
opening up to the top side. Dorado Gaming and XSV have once again swapped back to their sides from game 1.
Oh no.
And yeah, what is the cheese that Sutek is going to go for this time? It looks like these guys are swapping around. I don't know
Loveless,
why
don't do
we're
it to
guarding
him.
like this per se.
Loveless, don't do it to him.
I mean,
Surely not.
if Romeo, in the time that we have, can we check to see if Loveless started E? Actually, don't do that. I know it screws.
Almost assuredly started E. This is
Yeah,
just what
almost
Teal
assuredly
Support
started
does.
E. You don't need to do it. It's all good. Yeah, we'll
Alright,
be about to
Espada.
jump onto Espada.
Are you ready for it?
Oh, flash.
Just immediately flash away from Espada, and I was gonna try and delay levels a little bit longer, so now Maddie and Maddie's handbag will get some extra time to bully Manaxia. But yeah, top lane's no longer fun for Espada.
Yeah, and I promise you next game when Papa gets locked in, someone's gonna do it again.
Oh, you're so right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, well done from Loveless to try and impact the game a bit more. BKP shown the power of this way already with that level 2, making NBK's life a living hell in this mid lane. But I mean, I don't actually know that well the matchup power of this Gwen versus Mordekaiser. I do know that Gwen scales like a monster, but Mordekaiser is able to just steal a percentage of their stats. So we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah,
But
I think
looking at the
especially
jungle
given
first-
especially given that Gwen likes building both attack speed and AP, and those are two stats that Mordekaiser really likes to steal. I imagine it's actually a pretty happy matchup once the Mordekaiser does hit level 6, but it's going to take him a second to get there.
Yeah, and the Gwen should be able to dance around fairly well in the Death Realm. As both these junglers clearing fairly well on pace with each other. CJ Lopez actually looks to be fairly practiced on the Zahen clear.
A normal clear from both junglers? Nobody's going for shenanigans? What series is this? This isn't the Dorado versus
Never
XSV,
mind.
I know.
Oh, first blood bot. Double kill as well. It looks for the
Oh,
bot lane of
that's-
XSV.
That's a disaster.
Yeah, it looks
Hopefully
like
we
all
can get a
summons
replay
well
on that,
besides
because
the flash.
what happened?
I would imagine Loveless started the exchange, would be my guess. And then maybe he got caught by the handshake.
Is it just a recall bait?
If I had to, no, this is live.
Oh, this is live. This is live. Okay.
If I had to guess what happened, Loveless went in for a trade. Either got condemned by Maddie or got caught with a handshake.
Level 2? Yeah, Loveless just... Maddie doesn't die to that, which is incredible to start off with. How do they turn this around? Wow. The level of timers.
Well
That's foul.
Yeah, I mean, well played. Well, good usage of the exhaust. Unfortunately, Flash was held by Manaxia, but I don't know if it would have made much of a difference. Zutek is here.
Loveless. Yeah, has the hookshot wall dive. We'll get away with Manaxia, now potentially the one in trouble. Flash in onto Loveless
Sutek?
instead, but Sutek, I don't think that's the target you want. Taking under half HP, Manaxia is going to flash forward, but the damage reduction is there. Will eventually fall, and so will Espada on the top side, and Excessive over aggressive, taken down on both sides of the map.
Yeah, this play was not that bad from CJ as we take a look at this topside play. It looks like it's just a nice gag from CJ Lopez. Unfortunately, this is more comp things that I get upset at. I know the wave is screwed for Espada, but your jungler is currently ganking bot. You cannot be pushed up top lane.
You have to just sack that wave.
You just have to sit back and be like, okay, I guess this isn't my wave. I can't do anything here. I played a game earlier today where I was in a situation like this with Loveless, who finds a very nice straight onto BKP. Should be able to get this tier 2.
Flash away.
This Q2 rather is. Very nice flash blown from BKP. That actually, it means so much for the lane because NBK was taking a massive beating from BKP. And the fact that they won't have that flash to go for various cheeky endeavors in the mid lane is going to be very nice moving forward. As now MBK is going to have control of this lane for a little bit. TP is available, though, for BKP to reset with. This wave is not frozen. It's just going to push very slowly back towards Dorado Gaming. I mean, Axie and Loveless. I was in a situation, sorry, I was going to say, relating to this back earlier, similar to Loveless, where this is a double range lane, and it's very difficult to play. And sort of all you want to be doing is leaving the lane, but there's not really anywhere for you to leave to. Kali G is not really going to do enough damage to take down Espada despite the massive lead.
And NBK on the Zillion isn't exactly a high damage status.
Loveless.
Nice little from above and below. Sutek there is going to get some damage onto Loveless. A handshake as well. Nice snag there by Maddie's handbag. And Maddie gets their second kill. This Vayne is starting to pop off already.
A suboptimal wall dive, I would say, from Loveless there.
Well, hookshot it in, but didn't get the chance to
Or
wall
hookshot,
dive out.
sorry.
Nice
It
little
was,
stun
well, they
there
hookshot
from Sutek.
to a fat part of the wall.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't wall dive over the top, unfortunately. And that will just be Dragon for the side of XSV. Curious to note how Dorado Gaming are going to play the next 2 minutes, because grubs are the thing that you care about the most right now. If you're Dorado Gaming, XSV is the same, and if you're able to deny Belveth her form, that is the most important thing for the next 5 minutes, is making sure that there's no void form being picked up by Sutek, and that this Gwen matchup continues to go in the favor of Cali G, and it looks to be doing so. 12 CS in their favor. In the bot lane, if you had told me that this is the state of the bot lane,
this is like the
at
one
6
thing
minutes, I would
nobody
not have believed
expected
you.
out of this bottom lane. Vayne
I
Renata
would not have
getting the
believed you.
lead in the 2v2 fights, because we didn't expect there to be any 2v2 fights.
I mean, also look at mid lane. Look at the CS gap there as well. It's 30 CS in favor of BKP in this matchup.
That at the
And-
very least I can understand. This makes sense. Hui is a very strong laner, and Zilean really is not.
But I can only go back to
Callie? Snip, snips.
it'll work. Not going to do
Espada.
enough. I can
Hold
only
on
go
to that
back to the
ultimate.
draft and wonder what the thought process was of like not being sure where the Hui was going, but NPK having the confidence to say, give me Zilean into potentially Hui, potentially something else. And or if Loveless, because I think this Zilean was picked as a support.
Yeah, that was my initial
had
thought,
to have
because Zilean Sivir is a good 2v2 lane.
It's a
You really struggle
phenomenal
to do
2v2
anything
lane.
versus that lane.
It is like there's absolutely nothing that can be done versus that lane. I agree. Sivir's able to play uncontested. The push is even greater with the bombs. But now you opted to, was Hui R5? No, or no.
No,
sorry,
Hui
Bella
was
R5.
third pick, I believe.
Camille
It
was
Renata
B5.
4.
Camille was B5.
Yeah. The Camille was picked into both Renata and Vayne. They knew that this was the lane that was going to happen. So I think Loveless must just be a really big fan of these aggressive melee supports. And
I mean, they are the meta.
I know yeah, I know it's a bad matchup, but I'm going to play it anyway.
It is the meta, and it would work if Zilean wasn't your mid laner, because you want to have a mid laner that can, like, you can arguably kill the opponent with, as it looks like as well. They're not going to be able to get to the grubs in time to deny Sutek their first level 6 grub, as the Awakened form is not going to be available for Sutek and Espada.
Getting in and out of the
That's the
wall.
death roam.
Espada does have the death roam. CJ Lopez now taken in. Still caught by that knockup from the auto. Sutek looking for an engage. Does find Cali. Plenty of damage coming through from the Belvet, but there's that time warp. Have to be careful. Renata ultimate coming over the top,
Ooh.
but dominance from CJ Lopez. Finds the angle for the ultimate and takes down the jungler. Will get BKP as well. Espada on the run, and now
Cali?
Cali with needlework is going to get a little bit more work done. Exhaust comes through, but the snip does true damage. You cannot reduce it. Maddie's handbag won't even be able to trade back. Cali G levels up, and Dorado stays standing tall.
Yeah, I mean, the the absolute comfort of these picks for the side of Dorado are really showing true here, as on the bottom side here, it was a lot of gold picked up from Maddie, and as a lot of gold as well denied from Anaxi, who is going to try and make some of that up by pushing in this mid wave. As we take a look here, it was Sutek with that forms picked up initially, and then just not very much cohesion from the side of XSV here.
Yeah.
Those spells go wide. CJ Lopez is just chilling in the ulti, and then Sutek tries to go into Cali G, but takes no damage. Gwen is immune, and in that W takes so little damage. Nice play on the backside to pick up that Belvet, and a very nice flash from MBK to land the double bomb onto the Hui and grant another kill towards their jungler. And then we saw this one here on the stream, just some nice playing, and despite the exhaust, it did not matter. Maddie Sandbag falling the way of the dinosaurs there. Very nice kills, very nice play overall.
That fight so hard. They didn't have their jungler, or they didn't have their bottom laner. Maddie was bottling the whole time, and yeah, gets a CS lead, gets some gold lead in his pocket, but fighting without your strongest member, your AD carry, feels like a bad call there for XSV.
That's one of those plays where if you don't get that kill in Death Realm, I don't think you can keep fighting. So if it's not like a very clear and obvious 4v4 with your Mordekaiser having the empowered stats, it's too difficult to play. MBK doing a great job though on the Zilean, was able to be very impactful there. Had the
Just being able to be an annoying rat,
what
as
is it called?
Zilean
The
does.
Chrono Shift.
Chrono Shift, yeah.
Had the Chrono Shift onto Cali G, if they were to fall down to Sutek, they would have gotten right back up and continued the fight. Items finished, Meta Sandbag.
Handbag, a little bit overextended, does have the ultimate, and Sutek in the area. Nice little hostile takeover. Manaxia now is going to be forced back in. Maddie's handbag, managing to survive that, I think is impressive on its own.
Yeah, I mean, able to live there, not having any summoners available. CJ Lopez, not sure if they spotted it.
Catch BKP, force the flash out of the way. Sutek unspotted in the area. They don't know he's here. We'll get that knock up. The handshake into the Severing Bolt as well. We'll get the ultimate off alongside that Chrono Shift. Revived ease the Zahans to hold on to that passive as well, I believe. Can he get it stacked up in time? He does. The second revive comes through. It buys so much time for the bottom lanes to arrive. Loveless and Manaxia go trying to get in on top of Maddie, but there's that final hour.
Oh, Loveless.
Keeping the main alive, and Loveless overextends. Gets picked up, and Sutek extends the form.
Yeah, we're seeing the power of this mid-jungle duo, though. The double revive for CJ Lopez, unfortunately, not quite enough. But Loveless did use the hook shot to try and find the Vayne, but she was in the final hour, so wasn't confident in using the wall dive to try and land the stun. This BKP now walking straight into the Zillion's face.
Too far forward. Does have Maddie here, so maybe he can try and turn something around with the Fed Vayne. Condemn doesn't find the stun, but we'll get the autos off. BKP managing to get that trade back. NBK is the one picking up that kill. Having both of these laners be 3 letters, both of them with BK in it, it's really annoying. BKP now under fire from Loveless. NBK, though, not able to get any damage down. Not enough mana on him. Severing Bolt will find some damage on the Loveless at the very least, but yeah, it's been messing with my head this whole series, and I'm so happy that I haven't made that mess up until this point, honestly.
Sutek trying to start this dragon of no movement so far from the Dorado Gaming 80 carry, but NBK is sticking around. No mana, though, on this Zillion, but should only need enough for that double bomb, and XSV will be pushed off of the dragon. Loveless so low already in this fight, and I'm starting to notice a trend on Manaxia. Look, we like the item, okay. I think.
Yeah, you can tell well there. I think I agree with your read in the draft of just the Essence Reaver being better, but I guess if you are going to be forcing a lot of fights and you're actually taking the 2v2s, which we've seen a lot out of this game, I do think the Yuntal gets you a little bit more.
I will say, I'm not a fan of the Essence Reaver build. I think you're absolutely useless until your 3rd item, because most of the time they will just be going...
You get it for the wave clear, and that's really it.
Yeah, you get it for wave clear, but when you have a Zillion with double bombs, you don't really need the wave clear.
CC'd up here, caught by the root as well, the all-seeing eye. There's that Chrono Shift to be able to bring him back. No passive able for the Zahin, so no double revive this time, just the one. But now Sutek is the one in trouble. Needlework popped out, the Ignite's there, and cut down is Sutek. Hostile takeover will get a little bit of free damage, but that's just a free dragon from CJ Lopez and Dorado.
How kind of Maddie's handbag to allow CaliG to stack his passive on his support. Or to stack... does... Actually, out of curiosity, I don't know if this is the case. Does Hostile Takeover stack Conqueror if you're hitting your own teammates?
Yes. You are doing damage to an enemy target. Heavy air quotes around enemy, but still an enemy target.
That is
you will stack
very useful information.
Tempo, you'll stack Conqueror, you'll stack a champion passives. Like, you can Silver Bolt your own teammate if the Vayne was, like, on the other side.
Well, because I noticed that CaliG was...
Oh, flash in. There's that slow. BKP has nowhere to go. Gets the root down onto CJ Lopez, but with the knock-up, it should just be enough to finish it off. Man, Zillion's a really skillful champion. Flash slow. What a play.
Yeah, don't you love all the skill being shown there from the point and
Flash, point and click slow. Oh, he's so good. CaliG now trading with a spot who doesn't have access to the Death Realm with Conqueror stacked, trying to keep it up, but the Rylai's putting in a lot of work for this Mordekaiser. He'll be able to heal up with that W, but CaliG healing on his own with that Dusk and Dawn. A pretty even trading up here in the top side. But now with
Sutek's here now, though.
Nice sidestep, CaliG manages to walk away from it. CJ Lopez now in the area. Can they get something done? Espada has flash, but Sutek does not. But unfortunately, Sutek is playing the Belveth, so I don't think much they can do. They do catch Espada on the knockup. Can they finish him off? Snip, snip. It doesn't do enough damage. Espada lives, and Sutek will find the shutdown goal.
That's a tragedy. That kills 98% of the time, and that's the one where it's the small amounts of HP left for Espada there. Just gets to walk that one out. There's no MR as well on Espada, although I don't think it mattered. I think it was the middle of the queue for the Gwen, so it would have been true damage anyway.
Just that HP.
But it looked like a great play though from Dorado until it wasn't. Just a slight overextension from CaliG. But I don't imagine we'll be seeing many of those mistakes. I will say, I noticed that there is an individual in chat who probably knows more about this than I do, but I'm not sure where the strengths of Belveth lies. I know she was reworked recently, and changed up a bit, but I certainly don't think that I don't know. I don't like Belveth in this game. I think it's tough. I think she's
There's a lot that you have to navigate if you're playing the Belveth here.
yeah.
Valley,
And there's a lot of true damage as well from the side of Dorado Gaming that your E cannot block.
No damage reduction working on true damage in games like this, which is going to make life difficult. And speaking of difficult life, hey, BKP, would you like to be slowed again? Has to lose the flash. Gets the fear down onto CJ Lopez. Severing Bolt as well to get some damage back, but yeah, just really outplayed is BKP in that situation. Not much he can do as NBK actually TPing down to the bottom side. We've got a play starting to happen here. Lovelace looking for that true damage in. Gets that Hextech ultimatum off onto Sutek. There's the hostile takeover as well from Maddie's handbag. Gets the bailout, but Sutek has nothing doing. CC'd up, knocked it down. Maddie trying to turn it around, looking for his own little vein spotting moment, but nothing doing. BKB on the other side finds Loveless with the Severing Bolt. Nice little snipe there. Can he get anything more done? Severing Bolt again lays the damage onto Manaxia, but now CJ Lopez getting on top of him. They found Manaxia though, and CJ is just going to get CC'd up. There's that chrono shift again. He'll get a little bit of extra time to revive. Rooted up though, hand shaken. No ultimate available. Maddie cuts him down before it can come through.
And that was the perfect amount of mana usage from BKP to make that play happen. As some nice Zillion play from NBK. But yeah, I mean, double flash from Maddie and Maddie's handbag are able to knock down, I believe it was Manaxia in that exchange. And I mean, the kills are flying left and right, which is sort of what we expected from this game in the draft. It was not going to be clean regardless of what happened. But I, again, not expecting the kills where they're supposed to be. I thought that it was going to be the Belveth with kills, and I thought it was going to be the Sivir with kills, not the other way around. This play looked good to begin with. Manaxia was able to start free hitting Sutek and is able to take down this Belveth fairly early on in the fight. Doesn't quite get the revive, but then Loveless forced out of this fight, and then it becomes very difficult. There's not enough vision in the river. Actually does get sniped by BKP, did not notice that at the time. There's not enough vision in river, and it's just too much. The damage from the Vayne and the Renata is too absurd. I'm curious if the Chrono Shift was available for Manaxia, or if NBK was surprised by the amount of damage done by the bot lane duo of Maddie and his handbag. But, I mean, that fight just continued longer than it should have for Dorado Gaming, and unfortunately they paid the price for sticking around. But Dragon spawning now
seemed to be the name of the game for both sides here in this one. We did see top laners trade ultimates there, so no top laner ultimates available for this Dragon fight. If there even is one, as it looks like Dorado is actually just going to be giving it for free. There's no real vision available, no way for XSV to contest.
It was traded for the Herald.
They did get Herald.
Yes. Belveth is able to get her form, and it was traded for the Herald, which I'd argue is better than a Dragon. I'm a big Herald enjoyer, especially if I'm playing Belveth. Although it looks like this Herald was taken a long time ago.
Yeah,
or Sutek messed up and didn't grab the soul from the from the Herald.
At the very least, grabbed the Herald itself. I have to assume that he picked up the coral, surely, right?
I could also just be completely senile and they picked it up 3 minutes ago, but they died pretty recently. I think this is probably a senile moment for me that they picked it up a while ago and did it a while ago and then died. And anyway, it does not matter. Dragon picked up second of the game. It is going to be that Hextech Dragon.
Is Hextech soul because Riot still doesn't want to fix
God
the
forbid
indicators.
Riot finish. Yeah, God forbid Riot fixed it.
I mean, at the very least, it's showing something now and not just blank. Sutek is going to try and get onto Kali G here. Does have that needlework. Espada in a lot of trouble. This Gwen is on line. One more auto attack will finish it off. Kali does find that last hit in the 2v1.
It would show Cloud Soul. It would show Cloud Soul before.
I've seen ones where it's just blank. It doesn't even show a soul.
I haven't seen that one, although Sutek is unfortunately sticking around a little bit too long. CJ Lopez.
Do they have the damage to dive this? Yeah, they do with Loveless. This is the hookshot
hook
wall
shot.
dive, though, and I think that's going to let Sutek live. Oh, that's illegal. That's disgusting.
I'm starting to think Loveless might not have the most champion mastery on Camille.
Maybe not his most comfort.
This is not the first incident of the hookshot going awry.
Yeah,
and
BKP's going to force them away. Maddie's handbag up here as well to cover the wave clear as Now Matty trying to get on top of NBK, but this matchup, he gets to get away from that first bomb. But that second one is still going to hit pretty hard, and now that 99% slow, NBK misses the double bomb, though! Matty with no flash can't finish it up, but NBK, it's a big old misplay as Anaxi, in the meantime, 1v2ing in mid lane with that on the hunt. There's just a lot of fighting happening here, Sapte.
I will say, Matty was surprisingly fast for the
Ghost
I guess
final
the
hour.
ghost, because you get the
The
slow
lane goes
resistance
quick,
in the
'cause
final hour.
Loveless. Quick shot while dives into the spot. It doesn't get the stun, so no chance for a follow-up. This game is just aggression.
Maxia.
This is just full-on aggression.
There's a lot of aggression, and the reason I say I make the note of Loveless messing up the hookshot wall dive, those are game-changing plays to be missing. Dying in the bot river, as well as not getting that kill onto Sutek. While there weren't repercussions for it right away, it's a type of thing where you can, if you kill the Belveth on the top side, you're probably able to knock down this tower.
He's just uncatchable.
Sorry, I just wanted to see if Vayne was gonna try and do something there, but
without Ghost, there's no chance. Even with the Fiend Hunter bolts, just.
But the instant repercussion you could have seen there is had that exchange not happened in bot lane, NBK is able to just double bomb the wave and can leave, but instead has to try and make sure this tower goes down and engages themselves with Matty. Now it should be much easier to deal with this wave. As we see the back of the minions already going down.
Yeah, Zillion just kind of clears waves at this point. He's got 4 stacks on the Dark Seal. He's not exactly feeling threatened by the Vayne. I think even in the 1v1, just you point and click slow her as soon as she's out of her final hour invisibility, and then you just walk away. And there's nothing she can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly surprised BKP did not go the Chovy belt second item this game.
Proto belt, yes. I forget that people call it Trophy belt.
I'm not gonna lie, I completely stole that from LCS, I think.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe I stole it from Yamato. I don't know.
I mean,
One
it
of the two.
did get nerfed, so there's like a chance that people are building it less now. The cooldown on it specifically got nerfed.
I will say, in this game in particular, it is still very good when you're having to deal with slows and you're able to get a dash
on a
for free.
40-second cooldown is just as good in a case like this as spotting Callie trading again, but Callie just wins these trades so hard.
I mean, there's a reason they decided to put this Gwen into the Mordekaiser, and we're starting to see it. There's just so much damage from Callie G that there's going to be constant push and constant advantage on whatever side of the map the Dorado Gaming top laner is on. And with Dragon spawning in 15 seconds time, no teleport is going to be needed from Callie G, and no teleport is currently in the hands of Espada. And if Romeo, before quickly this Dragon setup fully happens, can we take a look at the River Vision? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I'd love to see how much control Dorado actually has, because you can see all the control wards they have in the river, and now you can't, as we're seeing what XSV sees, and there's just nothing on the map for them. This river is just totally in control of Dorado.
Yeah, Dragon started up, 5k.
Be down to 4. Spada trying to find his way in, but it's just so quickly done between the Belvet, or between the Zahen and the Gwen. Hostile takeover goes very wide, but does it buy enough time for them to find the engage? Spada's going to go down super quickly. He's got the bailout, but it's not back in time. CJ Lopez trying to get onto the frontline. Despite the spare will slow him down. Sutek can't get enough work done on the backline. And now CJ, with that chrono shift on, feels confident to run forward. A double kill for the Zahen. And Dorado stampede through this match.
Yeah, and I think you're going to try and start up the Baron as well, although I don't like this so much. Similar to last game, BKP on this way should be able to harass very difficult. It's going to also be very hard with that Callie G hitting it with them, but it looks as though they're going to be responded to by BKP, and it should just be Baron freely secured by the side of Dorado Gaming. That fight was very interesting. Espada tried to flash E forward and hit no one, and then also just didn't press their ulti. And so there was...
The fact that the Mordekaiser ultimate didn't go off, the hostile takeover went wide. XSV was forced to engage with their disengage comp. There's just nothing they could do.
Yeah, and then Manaxia's flashing forward, getting instantly feared by BKP was hilarious as well. But yeah, it's going to be Soul Point now for Dorado Gaming Iota. They're going to be wearing purple yet again in this series. The gold lead currently sits at 5,000 gold in their favor. And it looks as though we saw it pretty... I don't know if you watched much of last week's series for Dorado Gaming, but we saw a lot of this. The top laner mid and then 4 for the bot tower.
This
This
is
is
kind of the Dorado special, just being able to play these silents so well. Nice stun by MBK and Espada. Just no chance to play. The plated steel caps do not give you tenacity, which means that when Zillion stun lands, you're probably dead.
Yeah, I mean, the slow duration is also the maximum amount it could be. It's not lessened at all by the tenacity. I mean, Kali G is just doing what they're supposed to be doing, keeping those Baron minions buffed in the mid lane. And the towers will continue to fall. As cannon, unlike last game, when you had the Ziggs, the cannon is dying a lot slower in this one. PKP not able to walk up past the bombs.
Yeah.
And so they are still full HP, wailing on these towers. And now Sutek has been dragged to the fight.
Yeah. Was in a bit of trouble, but Matty can't walk forward to actually get any sort of engage or damage on him with the rest of the team nearby. But the siege is going to continue. This is what Sivir does really, really well in these mid and late game stages. She can just clear waves all day. And even Gwen, he's not a slouch in the wave clear department, so these turrets are just going to start falling down. And XSV, unfortunately, need to pull the trigger, but they don't have a way to do it. They are a disengage comp.
Yeah, I mean, and with Baron being worn, now Thrill the Hunt popped, I believe. No? Oh, no, sorry. It's just Dillion things. My bad.
He just makes people really fast.
Just makes them run very fast, and makes a lot of people run very fast, including himself with that Cosmic Drive.
Yeah, it's... Remember when I said in Jeff, like,
that's...
the champion's kind of absurd and, like, really low-key broken?
I mean, it's specifically broken when there's no point-and-click CC for the team that you're playing against.
Aurelius too. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you're supposed to be doing if you're MBK, and it's working out phenomenally. To add insult to injury, Loveless has bought the slow all of them item in the Randuins.
I mean, the real big threat for you this game is Maddie on this Vayne, who has gone for the full crit build with the Infinity Edges. Espada trying to keep CJ away from him, but now Loveless is here. Does have the ultimatum, but immediately pulled into the death realm, and Espada feels confident to take the fight versus the Camille at the very least. Pulls him back, but Loveless is tanky enough to not fall. Just that HP from the Randuin's doing enough work for him. Maddie pops the final hour, but there's just no real value here for XSV. They're just continuing to get siege down.
This tower is going to fall very shortly, and if it doesn't, there's a very surly looking bot wave in favor of Dorado Gaming as that need to work. Will do its job pushing away the XSVs.
I think XSV has to start worrying about game 4 now. Zahen has a 4th life now with that Guardian Angel alongside his normal life, the Zillion revive, and the passive revive. Absolutely disgusting. But if you're XSV, what do you actually do to change up strategies here? Because it feels like Dorado is kind of in their bag at this point. They're playing the aggressive comps, and yet even if Loveless loves and engage every once in a while, the rest of the team is just there to follow up, and these drafts have been so, like, seamless for them.
So I think XSV needs to fall back on what I think individually they're very good at. Sutek, I would argue, is probably has to bite the bullet. I think you play, you know, a Pantheon, a Jarvan, a Xin Zhao. You just do your job. You help Maddie get ahead. You allow BKP to play whatever mages are left that he feels comfortable playing. I don't really know what the pool really is left. Syndra seems to be permanently banned. Maybe we go for a Mel in the mid lane, regardless of matchup. And then Maddie just needs to be on a hyper carry. Whether it's Aphelios, whether it's Jinx, whether it's Yunara. It has to be something. And allow Maddie Sandbag to play and engage support alongside. And then just put Espada back, you know, on a tank of some sort, or find some kind of bruiser that they feel comfortable with.
On the hunt pot from Anaxia, they want to try and force this fight. Espada on the run, has the death round, pulls CJ Lopez in, so at the very least, Zahen won't be there against the rest of the team, but the rest of XSV is just forced to run away. Espada left to the dogs of Dorado. They will take that one down. Anaxia trading here with Maddie, as Maddie's just gonna get deleted. Hostile Takeover doing plenty of work for the handbag, but it's just too little too late. Bail out there, they'll get a kill back at the very least, but it feels like scraps and consolation prizes as their base is torn apart, and Dorado are going to look to set themselves to match point.
Yeah, very convincing game number 3 win. Now up 2-1 in the series for Dorado Gaming. I would argue, despite it being slightly closer, that this was even more dominant than game 2.
Yeah.
I think once they got a lead, they never let it go. And there weren't really many mistakes from them. in
Yeah,
this
just no
game.
real no real mistakes for them to actually
Yeah,
capitalize on. Loveless made a couple of personal flubs here and there, but never really anything that could be super punished. It was just Callie G winning
highs and the
lane and
lows.
BK not losing lane, and CJ looks really good on the Zion.
It's the highs and the lows of the Camille. It's sort of I made a note that maybe they don't have the most mastery, which is probably true. They're a support player, and typically they don't play much Camille.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's you got to look for stuff, and unfortunately, you will just miss and look foolish sometimes. It's the same on
Kind
every
of like
role, right?
Blitzcrank.
It was the same for Monaxia with that dragon fight. They flash into the wall to try and make a big play and kill the last two members of XSV, and they end up just getting flashed, or they end up just getting feared rather by the Hui, and the other two members just walk away like nothing happened. But it didn't matter because the rest of the team won the fight and looked phenomenal. But it was still goofy moments uh, for themselves. But yeah, Dorado Gaming looking very solid after that game one. I think they're still kicking themselves. They think I guarantee you they tell themselves that they could have been out of here by now. It could have been a 3-0
Yeah.
if they just didn't take that stupid blue fight in
Maybe?
in XSV's jungle. But I mean, here we go. XSV is back to picking side select, and I think they need to
Is that our
stick with
first
red
I think
side.
that's our first blue side win of this series, actually. I think all 3 of the wins have been on red side. So XSV eating that first loss on red side again, it'll get them side select again. So they have a chance to go back to red side if they want it, but something wasn't working for them this draft. And I'm curious what the actual adaptations are going to be when they get into game 4, because they have to find something. But we won't know what that adaptation is until we get to the next draft. So we're going to cut to a short break here. When we come back, what could be our last match of the night here between Dorado Gaming Iota and XSV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It is put up or shut up time for XSV. Let's remind ourselves that this isn't the be all and end all for them. There is still the
This
lower
is
bracket.
this is
There is still
upper
the lower
bracket.
bracket if they do lose here and now. So it's not the end of the world. Dorado Gaming must have heard you, Brittany, with the just pick Espada Malphite, and it has been banned.
Yeah, I mean, if you assume that that's what Espada has left in the bag in terms of tanks, then Malphite is the man to go to. But he's gonna go for Kled into this Ambessa. It is technically a good matchup for Kled. I just don't know how much practice Espada has in this particular matchup. I don't particularly
It's
remember
also
him as a
not
big Kled
necessarily
player.
Mbessa top, for
It
the
could be
record.
Ambessa jungle. You're absolutely right.
I, as an avid Mbessa jungle fan, am more than happy to take it into anything really. Um, I would I would like Dorado to just pick bot lane here, and that would be okay. No, we're gonna pick Volibear jungle, or no,
Volibear?
that could just be Volibear top into the Kled, which I actually think is a fairly Volibear friendly matchup. As you're able
Volibear in a big
to match
2026.
the all in pretty well. I mean, it was played in Korea, I believe, like a month ago or so. I think I saw them playing it in LCK.
It's possible. There's that Mel that you were talking about, just in terms of
Yeah,
just
and it got
grab
taken
that and
away.
lock it in. It is
This is
Varys
looking
already locked in for XSV, so I imagine that's going to Maddie.
so you're telling me that Dorado Gaming was allowed to pick a counter matchup into top lane, as well as pick Mel into a draft that XSV are showing that is a fairly one-directional engage composition with a skill shot from Varys that is very easily read and responded
And
to
reflected, yeah.
and could be reflected. So what is left here?
I
I
mean, you have
suppose.
Leona can technically still get her engage reflected just with the Zenith Blade, and it will pull Mel into the Leona, which is a really funny interaction. But I'm thinking more about the solar flare not being able to be reflected, which means that you can throw the chains of corruption while she's stunned. She can't reflect it, so it's not the worst
Possibly.
option.
This could also still be Mel bot. And it could just be some other nonsense mid. Knowing NBK though, it probably is just gonna be Mel mid. As I will do some homework on that. As we get into the second phase of bans. Braum banned. Not surprised.
And I think they're going to ban away junglers away from Sutek. I imagine Jarvan plus Xinjiao will be banned here, given that these are two pretty big name junglers that are still up and available at this point in the series, which, I'll be real, shocking. Those are normally like game 1, game 2 picks.
Yeah, I mean, I would love honestly, I would love Xin Zhao here if I were XSV. I think it's a very good pick. It's has great survivability versus both Volibear and the Mbessa. You can use your ulti to not get one shot by the Mel as well. Um, I'm curious as to what AD XSV think Dorado are gonna go for. As Xin Zhao does get banned away.
Assuming that it is Mel mid, there's that Xinjiao and the
Yeah,
Jarvan as well.
perhaps.
Assuming that it's
I
Mel
looked at
mid,
NBK's account and it's utterly useless to look at that account. There's nothing there. There's not a
barren,
shred on those accounts.
barren
Um,
wasteland.
it really is. I imagine we're gonna get our jungle matchup here, or at least I hope so. For Sutek, as I imagine it might just be some form of power farmer. I wouldn't hate a Hecarim. Pantheon
There's
will
that
be the lock
Pantheon.
in. Yep, it will be the put the fries in the bag jungle champ. Um, But yeah, I mean, taking a look now at what Dorado Gaming are going to round it out with, I imagine Maxi is just going to play another real AD carry. Honestly, Zaya looks very good here if you
If
are
Rakan was
Maxia.
available, Zaya Rakan would be so sick, but it would just be Zaya.
I
I
mean, even
wouldn't
just
hate
Zaya
it.
on her own would be phenomenal. Rel, we're getting
What
a
are we thinking?
Jin.
Hell. I don't hate Jin, but I
Jin.
also don't love Jin. There's not a lot of tanks
It could
on
be
the
Rel
east
and
side.
Mel. It could be Rel and Mel with we pick something mid here
The
as well.
anti-Noxian bottom lane, I kind of like that.
I actually don't know what it could be. There's so many crazy things that it could be. Maybe Kaisa, but I think Kaisa versus Varys, you hate
Oh,
yourself.
yeah, a little bit, but the team fights are probably pretty good for Kaisa. You could even go AP if you really just didn't want to
Is
interact with the
Ezreal
game.
still available?
No, Ezreal has
No,
been
it is
banned out.
Azalea. Okay.
Ezreal, Lucian, and
You know what?
Tristana have all been banned out the entirety of this series. They're gonna go with Zaya.
First thought, best thought. I'm surprised it's Rel, but I guess it makes sense.
You need some form of engage that isn't reliant on Ambessa ultimate hitting, and Rel is just kind of the next best support that's available to do that. You don't have Thresh you were not really confident in a Blitzcrank, I would assume, as Cassiopeia is the hover. I would not hate this. It
You know what I
makes
would have loved
it makes
on
Ambessa, Volibear, and Rel all really sad.
it is a phenomenal pick here, actually, for the record. I think it's a great standout mid pick here. It's it's very tough to play against Mel because Mel will absolutely outrange the living shit out of Cassio.
Yeah,
And so
you're
it
not
becomes
happy playing
very
Mel
difficult.
anyways.
And then also you don't really have, unless you have Pantheon ulti coming in or Kled ulti coming down, it is very hard to actually close the gap on the Mel because she can just throw her E and it becomes very tough to exist. Um, and I mean, I I actually don't. I'm curious to see which of these champions goes top in jungle for Dorado Gaming. My head says that it's gonna be Volibear top into the Kled, as it was the response pick. But Mbessa versus Cassio is a little tough.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say questionable. I think both of these teams have drafted what is verifiably comfort for them at the very least.
Yeah.
Matty Sandbag is an engaged champion again, which is where he seemed to be best at. You have Espada on a bruiser at the very least, not a full-fledged tank. BKP on a control mage. XSV have picked a composition that they're trying to get themselves to get to game 5 now. But for Dorado,
Yeah.
they also have a composition that's very comfortable for them. We've seen Loveless on engaged supports. This is just what he does. We've seen CJ and Kaliji both on these dueling bruisers, whether it's Ambessa or Volibear for either of them, they fit in a very similar playstyle. My big worry for them is really just this Cassiopeia. If BKP is forced into irrelevancy, then they will have a great time. But if the Cassiopeia is a threat, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, the problem has been for BKP that everyone's in his lane constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be imperative that both Sutek and Maddie's handbag are able to ward around the mid lane for BKP. This snake is very vulnerable with no dashes available to their name. I will
But you
say
can buy boots now. You don't have to
she
be
can buy
forced into
boots.
this. You
Yeah,
don't have to be
Cassio
forced into
Cassio
just like
with
losing it.
Cassio with the Stride March, I believe is what it's called.
Yeah, the
Um,
adaptive force Swifty boots
the
upgrade.
tier 3 Swifties is a bit terrifying if you're the other team. Um, as I mean, yeah, it's I don't really I don't really know if Espada. I don't know much about Espada and Kled. Um, if
Yeah, that's really my big question mark for this series, or for this match in particular. How well is Espada going to do in this matchup, whether it's versus the Ambessa or versus the Volibear? Either way, it's going to be a bit of a struggle. It looks like it's the Volibear. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised. I am curious what build they go for. There is the Baus build and there is the LCK build.
Mhm.
Um, it's just one is more glass cannony, the other is grasp into Fimbulwinter. Um, just to be survivable and annoying. Whereas the Baus build is you go. I assume it's just some various AP Volibear build. That's
That sounds
very
like Baus.
dueling heavy. And looks to dive constantly. But I mean, both work pretty well. This Volibear champion, unless it's Cassio hitting him, is pretty much immortal in this game, I believe.
Will be difficult to
Actually,
take
that's
down
not
at
true.
difficult.
Varus will hurt a lot.
I think that's going to be dependent on whether it's poke Varus or on hit. Riot has been really, really trying to get people to move towards on hit, but I think poke has still been pretty often a predominant build path for him. I think if it's
I
poke
am an
Varus, his Volibear is
avid
going to have a great time.
I'm an avid on hit Varus enjoyer. I think the static shiv build
With all the buffs they've
is
thrown his way, especially
yeah.
the extra offensive stats based on how much attack speed you have from the passive, I think especially is a huge buff that has not been talked about very much.
Yeah. There's just the Varus is very strong again. And if it weren't for mages constantly taking up the bot lane, Varus would probably be top 2, top 3 80 carry behind Yunara.
Mhm.
It'd be like Yunara Lulu, it'd be Ashe Seraphine, and then it'd be a Varus lane of any sort.
Varus plus
Um,
Renata, Varus plus Karma, Varus plus
yeah,
any
anything.
enabler
Maybe
support.
Ezreal Karma's up there as well, but either way, very strong, very versatile champion. And I'm excited to see what we got for game number 4, Brittany.
Yeah, we've got a couple of minutes to, or at least a minute to wait before we get into the game itself. So we're going to cut to a short break. When we come back, we'll be on the rift for what could be our last game of the night. Dorado trying to push themselves to grand finals, and XSV trying to hold on. We'll see you on the other side.
The clock will probably strike midnight by the time this game ends, but XSV Hydra are hoping to extend past that. It is currently 2-1 in favor of Dorado Gaming Iota, and they are trying to clear out this series and get to grand finals, and then watch from their lofty position as XSV Hydra try and grind through the bottom half of this bracket and get back to them. We are here now. It is game 4. I'm curious to see what shenanigans are gonna unfold this game.
It is worth mentioning this is not an elimination series. This is
Correct.
a playing for that finals ticket series. You're trying to not get yourself into that lower bracket, which is a big deal. It's a big advantage to be able to watch your opponents play throughout the rest of these couple of weeks and have that time off to practice, to strategize, to be able to scrim as well, and just get a lot of that extra time in to give yourself that breather and not feel like you're on the edge of elimination every week.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a benefit to see what opponents you're up against. There's also a benefit to be able to, I mean, unfortunately, in League of Legends, there's no such thing as a bracket reset in finals. It would just take far too long if that were the case. A potential 10-game day would be crazy to think.
Oh, don't make me think about that.
It would be so cool.
It's fantastic to watch, but you would need to get another play-by-play in because I think my voice would be dead by the end.
I was gonna say, if stamina were not a problem for both players and casters, it would be awesome.
It can work really well in like the fighting game scene because the sets are
it does
at most.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it does not work here. But anyway, it is. I'm curious to see sort of what the heck happened for Sutek. He is very far behind on this clear.
I think maybe must have messed up leashing a camp at some point. As Espada is taking the worst half of these trades up here in the top side. As Kali G, you mentioned on this volley, a pretty comfortable matchup versus the lead. It was picked as a
the
counter
conservative grasp matchup.
I don't hate it just because you give yourself less chances to make mistakes, and I think if you think you're the better players, that's the strategy to do. Is Espada's going to throw the Ignite down. Kali taking a lot of damage, but Espada will remount. Kali forced to flash away. Very dangerous situation. I think if there's no remount, there's definitely a chance of finding that kill. As even finding kills in the bottom lane, immediately Manaxia cleansing away from the CC of Maddie's handbag will get that feather pull back and plenty of damage down onto the Leona. But the heal expended just to keep that health bar up. Cleanse traded for heal on the bottom side.
Yeah, an exchange of summoner spells, and it will be CJ Lopez with level 4 on this crab. Sutek is trying to contest it, but doesn't have that smite available to them. Should be secured by the Dorado Gaming jungler and will do so. Might even be looking potentially to now invade the Pantheon on his Gromp. Sutek will have smite by the time they finish it, but just to be that little bit annoying as Cassio moving over, BKP trying to help out their jungler.
Playing bodyguard a little bit. Just trying to make sure.
And I'm curious how CJ Lopez is able to potentially abuse this. Raptors are respawning for Sutek, but the crab is probably just as fine of a consolation prize.
That's just double crab, and Sutek now has to make something happen on the bottom side. He's going to speed himself up, look for an engage. Flash is traded. Manaxia, instant flash, good reaction away from Bandit's handbag.
This is sort of the thing that I've been worried about with Sutek. It's sort of, if you were listening to me, the advice I'd give is, if the play is just super low, you already have camps up and available, just base. You probably wasted about 25 seconds trying to look for that play, and could have been stopped as well because you based on a ward.
Oh god, it's not the best of 7. No,
I mean,
boy.
if there's like a snack break in the middle, I'm down.
Or we started,
like
we would have to start an hour earlier, surely.
We'd have to start 2 hours earlier.
Probably,
we'd have to start it at 6 o'clock. You would not catch me dead casting at potentially 2:30 in the morning for a best of 7.
Yeah.
That is not happening. It would be hilarious, though, to watch, because I think the players' champion pools would get crazy. We would not do it over 2 days. We would do it over 1. And
this best of 7 would go kind of crazy, though.
Anyway, that joke goes back to Flay and I debating the play-in matches as Maddie's handbag tries to eat Evelyn.
Whiffs the Zenith Blade, is going to get pulled back and knocked up here. Plenty of damage coming through from Anaxia. Knight down on to the Leona. Gets enough damage down. First blood for the Zaya. Maddie trying to trade back. Gets Loveless down pretty low. Has the Ghost on as well. Loveless will remount, be able to get the flip back, flush it into the brush, but Sutek is here to deny the play. 2 kills back for XSV.
Yeah, great play from Sutek to get down here and make sure they're able to impact the play. Unfortunately, Maddie's handbag tried to go forward and was unable to land that initial Zenith Blade, but a 2-for-1 in exchange on this bot side is exactly how you would have written it up if your XSV kill going on your AD kill onto your jungler as well is exactly where you want it. This Pantheon, I will say, is a big problem, although it's unfortunate that I think Sutek probably right-clicked his item in shop as...
Ooh, Eclipse! The Golden Embrace! Down onto BKP, and BK gets the solo kill.
Okay, Loveless, that was unnecessary. Take all 3 of those minions. I don't even know how many stacks you had.
He didn't steal all 3 of them. I think he actually had 3 stacks available.
I saw
at
29
least-
gold, so I guess he had 2 maybe.
2 procs go over.
Yeah, perhaps. But anyway, CJ Lopez now going to be level 6 after this grab, and should be, yep, will now have the public's execution available to them. Sutek, they're going to try and take the spaces. The Ambessa
I can start the CJ.
is, what is this build for Ambessa?
This
is not an Ambessa build that I'm familiar with.
Is that going to be Shojin first item?
I guess it could be.
I'd be a little surprised, but like it is doable as.
I guess it is Shojin. It probably will just be Shojin into Death's Dance, into whatever third item here.
Eclipse, Black Cleaver.
You wouldn't go Eclipse
if you really wanted it. And
You
can
don't
really
go
build any
Eclipse
item that
on-
gives AD and haste.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's
Kaiji.
that first Grand Starfall for Sutek. Callie in trouble up here on the top side. Does have the Stormbringer to try and make some distance, or at least try and take a trade back. Will use it on an attempt to escape. Here comes the Kled all charging through, but Callie has so much extra health, and Sutek is forced to abandon his top laner as Callie is too damn tanky. The bear stays standing.
And here I was thinking it was a micro error to not use the ulti to buffer the Pantheon stun, but it was I who was the foolish one, as Kali G was just the master of dragging Espada and Sutek down the river to their teammates. But yeah, I mean, very well played, and a kill going back to this Volibear is just going to try and now increase this lead as Kali G not even basing after this initial gold investment. But critically, most importantly of all, you mentioned it, the first use of the Grand Skyfall is unsuccessful and damn near negative play for the side of XSV. Oh, -1.
Unfortunate, don't worry, NBK. Nobody saw that. You were not on stream, but yeah,
No one also said -1.
Yeah, nobody
No one
said
said
anything.
it.
But the big thing with these global ultimates is that first use is so impactful. You talk about it with the Paranoia and with the Grand Starfall as, speaking of roaming into mid lane, it's NBK on the receiving end of some mid-support
Maddie's handbag
jungle
was on board,
punishments.
by the way.
As that's just a, free kill for BKP, I believe, was the one to clean that up.
Yeah, I think Maddie's handbag was on or walked over a ward in Banana Bush in that bot river and still was able to make that play, unfortunately.
Sometimes they just disrespect.
Yeah, sometimes indeed. I think that CJ Lopez is gonna full buy their item, by the way, when they base after this after these Krugs.
I think he can. He's gonna go Krugs. He's gonna finish up that camp, and I think he's just gonna full have first item. That's a little bit strong on the Ambessa. Ooh, nice cleanse away
Very
from an
nice
axe.
cleanse.
Still gets
Very
caught
nice.
by the Zenith Blade, but uses the Feathers Fly to get away. Maddie's handbag now the one in trouble. The Feathers pull back. Gets flashed away from Maddie's handbag, bringing the heal, and the flash will survive. Ghost expended by Maddie as well, so a lot of summoners used, but they get the defenses out of Manaxia.
CJ Lopez does also show on that bot side. So XSV are aware generally of what CJ Lopez's plans are going to be. Is going to base? No, not going to have it.
Not
But it
full
will be that
item?
junction,
Wow.
I believe. They're very close to finishing.
Shojin.
Casio moving now to reward.
I'm curious what Callie
this
G is actually
is-
opting for the first item. I think that's going to be Iceborne Gauntlet.
Potentially.
It could be Unending Despair, technically. But I'd be surprised
That
to
is
see that
true.
first item.
That's where my head went to first, but I'd be surprised if that was the Volibear item. But no, it probably your first thing is probably right. It probably would be that Ice Gauntlet.
Volibear loves
see,
Sheen drops.
I would have loved a Fimbulwinter on Kali G this game.
I think he should still grab a tier at some point, just because Fimbulwinter is such an efficient item for Volibear.
And also, you trade so often with Volley that requires mana.
Yeah, the shield.
So-
If you have Shield Bash in inventory, which as Volibear you should, given how strong your E is, you can take more advantage of that consistently. Another Grand Starfall, Sutek again, just forcing
man.
NBK to walk away. No
NBK
real
had
value
Flash as well.
Yeah,
Just,
there
like,
was really no play there.
we're just using it to use it at this point. But I mean, hey, look, I mean, CJ Lopez is having so much fun this game. They're able to just full clear down on repeat. They just get to now do a full cycle again and not care. As Kali G now gonna try and get into it with a Spada again, but with the W now used, Pled is going to have to retreat.
Just munching health bars. It's what's so good about Volibear top lane. You just have such consistent sustain. And even with Espada, having anti-heal built into the kit on that Bear Trap on Europa, as far as I'm aware, at the very least, they didn't remove that from that ability.
It
It's
is
just
if
so
it
difficult
pulls.
to actually...
It is if it pulls.
Yeah, it's on the pull you get anti-heal, yeah. I'm not seeing the symbol above his head, so I think I might actually just be behind. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I think it still does. I think it still absolutely does have heal cut. I think it's just not showing for whatever reason.
I'm gonna double check this.
Is that Pantheon in the bot bush with Maddie's
It
handbag?
is. They know where Levis is. The Zenith Blade misses Maddie's handbag. Oh, that's brutal.
Storm call? No.
Bada is potentially in trouble. Manaxia doesn't have the cleanse, but the Chains of Corruption go wide, and now suddenly it's the bottom lane that's in trouble. Maddie's handbag will get the stun down onto Manaxia, but there's no real follow-up. BKB trying to get in, but misses the AoE. A nice Stone Gaze will seal their fate. XSV find a double kill for their mid laner, but NBK trades back spots. Gets one at the very least. CJ Lopez, no public execution, but does want to try and chase down a kill, but nothing doing there. Everybody forced to walk away.
Yeah, 2-for-1 in favor of XSV here as Espada will remount. Actually, this will be a very big timer for Kali G to dismount them here.
Kali can just ult this turret, honestly, and make the play happen. We might see that top side, but in the meantime, bottom lane, Dragon is going to be started Kali, though. Playing it safe, not wanting to over-aggress on that top side.
CJ Lopez is here with Shojin, though.
No, they did remove the anti-heal from the pole. It's not listed on the wiki. As in the meantime, Engage. Loveless with that Magnet Storm is going to find two. BKB force on the run. Sutek should be falling here, but it's so damn tanky. On the Pantheon, CJ Lopez will finally finish it, but it's bought Maddie so much time on this Ferris to be free. Firing Loveless will eventually follow. A couple more autos down, but CJ Lopez now onto the backline. BKB is taken out. Espada in with the charge, but it's already a double kill for the Unbessa. MBK will find Maddie, and it's suddenly a disaster. Maddie's handbag on the run. CJ Lopez forced away as well. Flash in from Espada, but the root from MBK keeps his jungler alive. CJ Lopez walks out in style.
But now we need to look at the top lane and see how much of this tower is going to get taken down by this Volibear. Grand Skyfall is available for the Pantheon should they try and use it to clear the wave, but there will be no wave to clear as Kali G with an 800 gold lead will take their leave of the lane and most likely be very close, if not be able to finish their item here on the base. No, just picking up that Sheen again. And you're right, it will be that Frozen Fist. As we take a look here, the Cassiopeia is just utterly shredding this dragon. Very nice flash from Loveless before the Miasma goes down to land a stun onto two. And then it's just a formality. Sutek gets a little bit of a heal there from the Sundered Sky, but it is not enough. As CJ Lopez will take them down with the second usage of that Q. And then this fight is so scary. If Maddie had mana, I think it would have gone much more in favor of XSV as Manaxia is able to use that Feather Call to, or that Feather Storm rather, to immune just enough damage. And then I honestly thought that Maddie's handbag would try and chase CJ Lopez down as they were about to get Solar Flare back. But I think getting hit by NBK's Q there scared them off just enough to allow the jungler to walk away.
So much mobility. It's so difficult. Yeah, I did check on the LoL wiki. Pled Tethered no longer has the anti-heal on it, so Spada is fully reliant on the Ignite cooldown to actually be able to stop the healing from Kali G.
That was one of those, I mean, I sort of understand it as Skyfall.
Fall in. They're looking for the Rel, not the Mel. They will finally pick her up. The other Noxian hating Noxian is taken down in the bottom lane, but in the meantime, top lane turret is going to go down with all the attention Sutek has given bot. KP potentially in trouble. Stone gazes down, stops CJ Lopez in his tracks, does not allow him to engage.
Yeah, I mean, just another good kill on the bot side. It is some good uses of the ult for Sutek here, as it looks like we're going to get an 81v1 as the feather pull is not going to root Maddie. Manaxia is definitely diveable.
It's first sight of Knight's Vow as well for Maddie's handbag, just really making sure that Maddie is allowed to play however aggressively as he wants.
Yeah, you're right. And also, Maddie did opt for this on-hit build. Did go for the static shift first. So we'll be doing massive amounts of damage later on in this game.
I think that's the correct call this thing.
Manaxia, back to this Yuntal, is really loving this item right now.
I think this item is really good for crit AD carries. It provides so much value on its own, but even before it's stacked, it is a solid enough item. But then when you get 25% crit added on top of it, it's just a solid crit starting item. It gives you the 3 stats that you want the most. AD, attack speed, and crit.
I wouldn't trust this Loveless, but you know what?
They've got
Never mind.
MBK
The
and
squad is
CJ
here.
in the area as well.
The squad is here. Sutek is
They are just here to bully Sutek. Are they going to go for it? There's the stun, the knock of the root, everything down onto this poor Pantheon. They should just be able to donate the kill to whoever they want. The Golden Eclipse. Sutek flashed for what I assume has to be the Sundered Sky proc to try and heal and get out. But it's nothing doing for the Pantheon.
I'm stunned that he would flash there.
I think that's a little bit of a tilt flash, unfortunately.
It's the flash of hope.
Yeah.
It's the flash of hope is what it is. Yeah, I'm seeing Twitch chat catch up with the stream now.
I'm glad they agree with us, but in the meantime, top lane, the Rift Herald is going to go down. Maddie and Maddie's handbag have been gifted a lot of time on this bottom lane. They've evened up the CS lead. I wouldn't actually be shocked if Maddie had a gold lead over Manaxia right now, and it's only going to extend farther as he continues to push in with this static shift.
Yeah, this Varus is, regardless of the type of gold advantage, is gonna be a problem in this game. If they're not able to lock him down, if Mel is not able to land enough ambient damage onto the Varus, it is going to be very difficult to take down the AD carry of XSV unless Maddie makes a mistake, which I'd argue is not the most likely, as I think Maddie has been probably playing some of the best on this team so far, probably right next to BKP. But it's gonna be very difficult for the Varus, especially once. Actually, don't know what item this is for them.
I think it's gonna be Gwynsu's second.
I assume it's Gwynsu's, but it could be Bork. There's
Blazing King as well.
People build both. And
I will hope for
like,
Bork first, just because you want on hit to take advantage of with your Ginsu's, but.
Yeah.
It is still technically doable. Dragon is being started up here. Kali G and Espada both walking down. They're going to meet each other. Grand Skyfall trying into the backline. MBK flashing away from that solar flare. Maddie's handbag. One engaged tool down. How much more can you find? Aftershock used there. Dragon down to 2k. Can they find the steal? Public execution to the backline, but Sutek finds it. But there's the engage for Loveless. The 4-man Magnet Storm and XSV are torn apart. Shredded asunder as Kali G is continuing to munch down. Maddie's handbag and BKB making a valiant last stand, but there's just nothing doing for the Snake and the Sun. They are forced on the run. CJ Lopez chasing him down, but with the last cow, BKB will escape. A massive engage for Dorado.
Yeah, the consolation prize of the Dragon does go the way of XSV, but the team fight and the massive momentum in this game 4 goes the way of Dorado Gaming. It was a fantastic engage, first of all, from CJ Lopez to get that grand execution and make sure that they're able to contest the smite. Unfortunately, does not go their way. But then, as we take a look here, I sort of, the grand Skyfall goes in, it whiffs just a little bit. MBK just walks this one away, as well as, great flash there from the mid laner of Dorado Gaming. Then Kali G, just unperturbed in the backside, is able to walk into this fight. Great roots as well. And then Loveless here.
Look at this engage from Loveless.
With the great Magnet Storm as well onto 4. It's just, it's peak gameplay and great team fighting from the side of Dorado Gaming. And they're all grouped up for NBK's damage. And then the ulti comes in from the Mel as well. And it just deals so much. And that's only taking down 3 of the members of XSV. That's not even a full team ace, but
it doesn't matter. That's a wipe.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a full team wipe, it is a wipe. It is going to be the Ginsu second for Maddie. I saw some talk in chat about whether it's Rageblade or Borg second. People saying that Bork unnecessary with Varus passive, especially now with that buff, as Maddie will eat a little damage there from NBK, but has the sustain boots, so isn't feeling too bad.
I am curious as to what XSV are going to try and do moving forward.
This Hunger second for Ambessa as Maddie's handbag now getting engaged on. Ambessa throwing the chains on top of him. Grounded though, so no chance for a public execution or any more dashes, so Maddie's handbag will escape.
It's awkward to build Death Stand second on Ambessa as Chain of Corruption's going to land onto the Volibear.
Kalaji
taking a lot of damage
making
from the Varus
plenty
there.
of damage, holding that ultimate till the very last moment. The last Twin Fang not doing enough damage through the ultimate as the Herald now will take that turret down. Reflect used by NBK, but he's caught in a very rough spot as the Solar Flare can't be reflected. Shut down over to Sutek. This may be the fight that XSV has been looking for. And Axia forced to use that Feather Storm away. Flashes over the wall, but BKP is still trying to chase him down. No wildlife, but that snake is quick. Maddie will find Loveless, and BKP does end up finding his target in the end. Shut down over to the snake, and XSV find their angle.
Yeah, and just like that, the gold lead is already down to 2,000 gold, and Baron is on the map. Maddie being this on-hit champion will absolutely, I mean, this is absolutely doable.
Yeah, Cassio plus Varus, yeah, they do it so quick.
Yeah, I think this is going to be almost impossible for Dorado Gaming to stop this. I think if CJ Lopez and Kalaji go in, the gold lead might swing back the way of XSV.
Lopez does have access to ultimate, trading with Espada and Maddie's handbag. How much time can the top laner and the support buy? Teleport now coming in for the Mel as well. Finally makes it in, but the Baron is taken. CJ gets into the backline with Maddie's handbag, using that ultimate. Sutek taking up plenty of damage from NBK. The Golden Eclipse doesn't find very much, but it's just enough to get him out. NBK finds BKB. They'll take a couple of Baron buffs off, but it's still 3 banners of purple for XSV.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say call the bounty police because Dorado Gaming were giving their bounties away to XSV, but I mean they're able to. Spada? That was a lot of free damage for nothing. What I will say about Dorado Gaming is their fights need to be more succinct than that. XSV did a great job. The exact fight is escaping me at the moment, but I believe it just started with Volibear being forced out, and then NBK was coming from an angle that they were not allowed to be at without Flash, and getting completely pinched by the Leona and the Pantheon. And then it was just a clean knockdown to the dominoes following that. But Baron now being warned by the side of XSV. The problem is that I would argue that the lanes are not really that strong still. You're still waiting on that finished Seraph's Embrace for BKP, which I argue is not the correct build. But yeah, I'm not the one playing Cassiopeia this game.
It's kind of a vegan build. You have a lot of HP, you have a lot of sustain, but your damage is severely lacking. You don't have your Leandries yet. You don't have a Blackfire Torch to really burn through these chunkier health bars. This Maddie's handbag looking for an engage here. Vinaxia will sidestep that stud. Cleanses away from the second and from the Chains of Corruption as well. Featherstorm used. He's managing to survive for so long. He's under half HP though. Can the rest of Dorado clean up the fight afterwards? Maddie, in the meantime, blown up by NBK. Public execution now on top of Sutek. Nice two-man stun from BKB with the Stone Gaze. And they found CJ. They take down the Ambessa, but it's not going to be enough to take anybody else down. Triple kill over to NBK on the Ambessa. Once more, trades flashes with BKB, but Dorado, in the face of the Baron buffs, care not, stand tall, take the fight.
Dorado Gaming right back at it with this one. CJ Lopez does go down, so no jungler for this fight, but it does not matter. Maddie's handbag walked a little bit too close to the sun there and got caught by Loveless, and unfortunately, there was just not enough follow-up for that Leona in that fight. Manaxi did a great job kiting with both the use of the Featherstorm and the Cleanse. And now it is going to be 2 dragons apiece for both teams here. Gold lead still within striking distance for this XSV team. But we're starting to see, I mean, you said it yourself, the vegan build sort of from BKP. There was not much damage in support of the rest of their team. They sort of just were pushed away. So now BKP moving to help Espada.
Callie, I don't know if you can take this one. It is vegan build from Cassie, but those Twin Fangs will still hurt if you don't have any magic for this, which you do not. Does have the enough health behind him to just walk away from him. BKP, a little worried about the mana pool, just forced to walk away.
I am not a fan of this Volibear build. It sort of is, you're trying to do too much.
I don't know how I feel about it. It feels like you're starting yourself a bit thin.
Exactly. You need to either pick to be a tank and be unkillable with like Spirit Visage and Force of Nature. It fills the job of the we can take a look at this again. was
I think this
fantastic.
isn't
I
getting a
think
lot
CJ
done
Lopez
for
is the
it.
only member of Dorado to fall down in this fight. Tries to go in, lands a great public execution onto the Pantheon, but unfortunately gets caught on the miasma for the Casio, and PKP trying to twin fang the members of Dorado Gaming down, but is unable to do so, and forces the flash there as well, which is going to be big for the next few minutes, as this Casio is very vulnerable, especially opting to go for the upgraded Ionian boots instead of the Swift March, which we had both mentioned earlier on as being sort of
Yeah,
the
shocked
perfect
to see that,
Casio boot.
honestly. It really feels like,
Maybe
especially
just
with a build like
valuing
this,
the TP and the flash more than having that extra bit of adaptive damage.
but with a build like this, you really need that extra adaptive force. You need some extra damage behind your Twin Fangs, or else you really aren't providing a lot of value. I also want to say, in that team fight, Matty got to auto, I think, maybe twice or 3 times there. One static shift proc. There was just nothing doing for him. As Matty Sandbag engages, but I don't think this is the fight you exactly want. Grand Starfall being used, looking for the backline, but again, it comes up short. Sutek now potentially in trouble, looking for a re-engage. Public execution whiffs, though. Callie G TPing in, but just a little too late.
This is a fight over nothing, by the way. There's nothing happening here.
Dragon's not up for 3 minutes. Baron's not up for a minute and a half. They really are just scrapping to scrap. God bless him.
LG does not have flash, does have the storm call if they want to try and go for a snap play, but Matty would be able to respond with the flash of their own.
Really just said, I want to take a fight now, so we're taking a fight now.
How aggressive are XSV going to be? Espada might be forced to flash here.
Does have
gonna
the
walk
dash,
the
so
way.
he will manage to get himself out, but it gives priority to Dorado on this mid lane, and this is something that Dorado does really, really well in series like this. They have such good control over side lanes and priority over mid lane especially. I think this is something that is just drilled into their teams and coached into them repeatedly in their scripts.
Ooh, it looks like CJ Lopez is not going to be going for the Death Dance. It's going to be that GA third for them.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate that. It denies some.
Okay. In a bit of trouble, the crowd control is going to lane. Has the Zonyas, though, and then Loveless with a 3-man Magnet Storm. Can they find the disengage and the re-engage? BKP, though, now into the backline. Stonecase, nice cleanse from Manaxia, but it is eventually taken down. The Fangs bite into him, but NBK still untouched on this Mel. Managed to survive the full burst. Can he turn it around?
Oh my god,
finds
NBK.
2.
Now Callie
Sutek
G.
gets a couple of himself, but Callie G's now here in Espada on the run. Espacito, my little Espacito, you are going to be taken down. Eventually, the Kled just not
Storm
going to
Call
be
still
fast
available.
enough in his little bitty boots. Eventually will be run down here. Yeah, Storm Call just engaged just to make sure. Shut down over to NBK. Godlike is the Mel. 12-2.
Yeah, I mean, a phenomenal Zonias from NBK there. I thought they were caught out, but I was the one that was caught unaware by the hands of NBK. And, I mean, that's the perfect fight for your Mel here. Just, you're able to line them up, land the roots. I was expecting the ulti to be a little bit bigger from NBK, but I'm shocked that they are able to find the window to get that Zonias off. But the Magnet Storm from Loveless does just enough to peel away from the 80 carry. Then I think Espada would have died, but was untargetable due to them dropping their bike, and so they didn't actually take the damage from the Mel.
We've got another fight going on in the picture-in-picture, by the way. Again, we are continuing to fight over nothing. It looks like it was just cooldowns and health bars exchanged, though. No deaths going over. A ridiculously aggressive series. And again, I have to ask, what are we fighting over? Yeah, Baron's up, but if you take that fight and you win, are you going to be able to turn a Baron?
What I will say, the wave, at least for Dorado Gaming on that top side, was very well set up for that exchange. I don't know what XSV are doing. They're going to try and rip the Baron, but they're doing it on vision.
I mean, they know CJ is on the bottom
Look at
side.
the
They
HP.
saw the Scuttle Crab go. Baron is taken
Already
down
on
very
a half.
fast again. Cassio plus Varus, they do this buff so quickly,
Oh
but
my
they're
God, they get
forced
pushed
off.
off.
NBK, his aura just threatens them away, and CJ Lopez in the area means they have to peel off.
Are they
Don't
going
do
to try it
anything
again?
For it, but again, they have to worry about the priority.
I think
of the
you just
lane
need to send
states.
Callie G to hit the dragon.
Somebody has to go down and hit Dragon.
Just send.
They can't beat
Okay,
CJ.
Ambessa's going. Ambessa's going.
But now without jungler, can Dorado not? Can Excessive not just start this up? I mean, 5v4. I feel like they can take it.
So I think that I think it's fine. You have MBK to deal the damage, and just poke them from afar, and there's enough bodies in front of the Mel to keep them safe. It will be third dragon going the way of Dorado Gaming Iota, and 4 minutes time at 30 minutes. I said it as a joke earlier on, but we might actually get to midnight by the end of this game.
There's always a
Uh,
chance. We're now crossing over the 30-minute mark in just a couple of seconds. Only one
I mean,
member still deathless in this game.
critically, though, we're at 30
Scally
minutes, and the item completions for these players has not been that extreme. But the CSing numbers have been pretty good still. 80 carries, 3 items apiece. The top laners working on their third. It will be that Spirit Visage for Cali G. So thankfully, I mean, at least in this game, I think that item is fine. You have so much healing from the Volibear. Again, this I mean, Force Nature would be phenomenal as well. Doesn't
I
apply
like
the same
Spirit.
healing.
I do like Spirit
But Spirit
Visage
Visage,
better
I think,
in
is
this
too important with
particular
your W.
instance. Yeah. Cali forced on the run, knows that there are members of XSV on the way, so just forced back.
Zol, you gotta tell this guy to build Fimbulwinter the next time he plays Grasp Volley top, by the way.
Fimbulwinter plus Shield Bash goes crazy. It's so good, but he's going to look to trade with Espada again.
All jokes aside, though, like,
he
just
takes chunks out of Espada here. I don't think Espada can win this anymore, not without Ignite. He does have access to it. He burns it now, but the team is now coming, and Espada already dismounted. I don't think he's going to get the chance to remount before he gets chomped taken out of him.
Baron's already half HP.
Finds the essential solo, but in the meantime, the rest of his team is just taking the Baron. The Inling turret does go down to Maddie, but with no pressure, no way to force them off. That's just smite over. That's a free Baron, a free kill. XSV, what are we doing? Ultimate purge by Manaxia to get away from that Chains of Corruption. Nice ghost and movement there to get away from the public execution as well. But Dorado just got away with a theft and murder. What are we doing, XSV?
Yeah, I mean, it seems as though they were unprepared. It was an interesting exchange on the top side because Cali G had tried to go for that 1v1 just like about 30 seconds prior to that engagement. But the side of XSV was the first team to move for that fight.
Ooh, flash in from BKP. Wants to take this 1v1, the ground there, and BK will force out the Zonya's usage. Does have the reflect as well, trying to trade back. Grand Starfall is just a bit short again as MBK has the flash. Sutek just needs to get a range for the sun. He finds it! 1,000 gold to shut down over to the Pantheon, but in the meantime, the rest of the team is getting shoved into the mid lane. Can they get back in time? Here comes the Kled charge, 3v4. How much defense can you get done? Maddie forced out. Cali G gets on top of it with CJ Lopez, and there goes the 80 carry. Maddie is gone. The rest of the members forced on their way back. Cali G just still tanking up in the front line. Another member falls as Espada goes down. Sutek in here trying to get some damage done alongside BKP, but the full health members of Dorado, they find MBK, but that's all they're going to get, and they're going to lose their first inhibitor.
Yeah, Maddie's not there to wave clear now, and XBKP does not have the same type of wave clear as this Varus, as the Magnet Storm going in up to 3.
The Magnet Storm, they found 3. Then comes the public execution. There is the last death knell for XSV. Maddie's handbag goes down. There goes the rest of the members. A double kill to Manaxia and Dorado are going to punch their ticket to Grand Finals.
I mean, this game was scrappy. This game was prime Dorado. If you had asked me to describe what a Dorado game would be, it would be that. It would be utter madness going on in that entire game. And I mean, MBK, phenomenal game on this Mel Manaxia as well, being able to be very reliable on this Xayah. And I will say, I mean, everyone did their job very well. CJ Lopez made sure they were farmed up and able to play whenever needed. And then I would argue Loveless probably had some of the most showy moments, some of the most flashy moments in this game on the rel.
Yeah.
And was critical in the fight winning prospects for this Dorado Gaming side. And I mean, one could not be done without the other. Could go for about every single member of this Dorado Gaming team. Whew.
Just a good showing, I think, from Dorado. This is an organization that time and time again, no matter what players end up coming through their org, no matter what sorts of teams they end up building, they always show up in the clutch. They always manage to make it when it counts. And these players always end up coming out of Dorado better than they do coming in. I mean, I can't say enough about Dorado's like coaching staff and ability to like, you would call it almost like a farm system in baseball where like they just make players reach their potential in a very different way. And it's genuinely very impressive that they continue to do this with all these different players.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players have been around for a while. Dorado, I think, tends to keep players around pretty well on their teams, and they definitely keep the ones they like. But this team in particular, finished top their group, dropped, I believe this is maybe their third game in the upper bracket that maybe they've dropped, I think, the entire run. And are now sitting on the precipice of another grand finals in the CCS. and
Maybe
how
we should
fitting
take
it
it
would
now that we
be
have to wait.
for a Dorado team to be in the finals for this league in particular. Who, I mean, I think Zol probably had what 3 teams at most in this league at one time in its heyday. But it fits. It absolutely fits, and these players should feel very proud for what they've achieved so far. But as Kobe said, job's not done. So
Job's not
gotta
done. They still have one more match left to play in that grand finals, but I believe we still have a game 5 being played over on CCS too. So that's going to be it from us. We're going to send you over there. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Apologies, I just heard from a producer. Are we going to have an interview?
it's sort of up to the players. I know it's late for them. It's pretty. It's up to you as well.
The
I can
players.
check. I imagine they'd probably be down for it, but if game 5 is going on, I mean, Flay, you're in the chat. You decide.
I'm hearing an interview from Flay, so it sounds
Flay
like we're
says an
going to send
interview.
ourselves to an interview. So when we get back from this break, we'll be with an interview with one of the players, at the very least, from the winning Dorado team. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back one more time.
We are
Welcome
here
back,
now after a
everybody.
phenomenal series of Dorado Gaming Iota again versus XSV Hydra. The winners, of course, in the 3-1 fashion, being Dorado Gaming Iota. We are joined by their mid laner NBK. NBK, how you feeling after that series?
Happy to win, ready to go to bed.
That's fair
We'll
enough.
get
We
you.
will keep this. We'll keep this
We'll get
brief.
you
I'm
out of
gonna-
here pretty quick.
Yeah.
I have to
So-
ask,
Yeah.
just off cuff, get the obvious question out of the way. Coming into this series with an injured arm, you were expected to potentially sub out after maybe the first game, but you stayed in through the whole series. I'm assuming your arm is feeling healthy enough, but how are you feeling after playing that? Are you confident coming into the next series, or was this just a little bit lucky? Or how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the roundtable, the guys kind of said they were confident. I feel like we were pretty confident going into the series. I mean, my arm's sore, but other than that, like, yeah, I think everyone else played really good. I actually didn't think I played that well, but yeah, it's like my score lines were decent, but I didn't think I played that well. But everyone else, like, really stepped up, and they're kind of on a tear right now. So
Yeah, I mean, it was a very solid performance. I'd argue you had some phenomenal games. That the Zillion game in particular was one that we enjoyed watching. Um,
Enjoy is a
without giving
strong
away
word.
without giving away too much, how do you guys feel with regard to your comfortability in this current meta? I know Manaxia prefers traditional ADs. And what do you sort of feel regarding the hindrance and maybe not playing as many of them?
you mean like with the double mages?
Yeah, with the double mage nonsense that everyone's
Yeah,
doing.
I mean, I feel like there's not a ton of teams that are doing it in general. I mean, they played it one game, probably could have played it multiple games if they wanted to. And I mean, it's good, but I mean, Kaiser does play that stuff. He just doesn't like love it. But if there was an angle where it looked good, or that's what like the feeling was moving towards, then we would have done it. I mean, I mean, Mel's obviously a flex pick, so if it looked decent, then we could have sent Mel bot. But felt like Saya was a good angle. She's really strong right now, and they had a lot of people that are trying to go forward. So that's why we decided to do that. But I mean, we've definitely played the mage bot before. We play a lot of roaming supports, is what you play with the double mages. So I mean, it's good. But I still think that like standard is fine too, especially with like this elo where it's not super like giga abusable. Compared to like pro level where if you don't play that, you just get fucked the game. Oh my bad.
All good.
You're good.
Yeah, man.
All good.
I do want to give you one more question before we send you off to bed and get your arm some rest. Are you expecting this to be a potential rematch coming into the grand finals, or do you guys have a team that you're particularly preparing for going into that next match for you guys?
To refresh your memory, it is Syndicate and DOV Twisted in the lower bracket currently.
Yeah, I mean, think um I think we all believe that XSV is just going to be back. I think they're clearly like still the second best team, not since we beat them. But um out of Syndicate and DOV, I think Syndicate has a better opportunity to beat XSV than DOV does. So if DOV wins, I think it's much more likely that XSV wins. I mean DOV is good, but I think XSV's macro is a lot better. So if they just like get to 30 minutes, they'll probably just win the games. Whereas I think Syndicate is pretty decent in macro, and they're good in lane too. So and they already beat XSV once, I believe. So like that would be a much closer series, and they would have the opportunity to beat them. But I think we all expect XSV to be back. So
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, you guys get a week off, and you have the opportunity to watch the losers bracket finals for whoever is waiting, or for whoever XSV Hydra is waiting for. Before we let you go, MBK, you got any more shout outs?
just shout out to Zol, shout out to the boys for the dub and the good season, and then I guess who else? Shout out to Golden because I know she loves to see Dorado win. She's a hater.
Golden loves Dorado.
Yeah, she does. We're winning this for you, Golden.
All right, MBK, thank you so much. And thank you to everyone sticking around for these 4 games. I know it is late for those on the East Coast, and for those in the West, enjoy the waning sunshine, I believe. Probably
I
the
gotta go
sun
get dinner.
might have just
Dinner
gone
and
down.
sunshine.
But we're going to
Sunshine
get this
gone.
out of the way quickly so you guys can maybe go take a peek at Syndicate versus DOV Twisted in game number 5. But I have been Septi, joined alongside What To Britty with Mr. Fantastic and Romeo doing the producing and observing. We will be back next week for the losers bracket final for XSV Hydra versus the winner of our CCS2 matchup. So stick around. We'll be back same time, same place with a whole lot more CCS Apollo content. It's been a joy. We'll see you next week.